The 28th, right?
Right, he wants to know if you're traveling.
Okay.
Let's go. Let's do it.
Anywhere. As long as I'm here.
Agendas, paperwork,
As long as I'm here.
all over there.
And I brought my agenda and I appreciate you guys providing the rest of them. It seemed like way too much.
Well,
I love the information on the 7-Eleven.
I got that, I got it, it's all in here.
By the way, on the 7-Eleven, I got the actual board proof letter,
Oh,
which is only just slightly different, but that's only a committee approved letter, and it's not legit until the board approves.
oh, okay. So
It's over there.
Is it different from the committee letter?
Yeah, it varies only in one slight thing. It didn't, there was one condition they didn't agree to.
You mean the one condition the
Board did not.
the board did not agree to? Okay. Okay, so,
The 17 letter?
hi. Do you have, you wouldn't happen to have a digital one of that, do you? But
Sure, but not on.
But what,
the board approved letter, so,
Well, Andy, it's on the website.
it should be on the website.
yeah, but I can't get it off the website yet. I just like to post it up there.
Oh, well, I might be able
But
to send
if
it.
it's only one item that's different,
This Feb 17 one, this thing?
Oh, your curse,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
I might be able to just get it on my phone and email it.
I don't think I can get email.
Yeah, I know, we should get started
It's,
like now.
And it's already 7 after, and we'll
Yep.
wing it. We'll wing it.
we have
I
more.
want you to just in the elbow room somewhere. Get out my papers, thanks.
Remember what the bell said and what the zoning administrator said. Oh boy.
So are you calling us? Together?
Go ahead, you can start.
Good evening. Thank you for coming to our land use and economic development. I want to stress economic development. It's not simply land use. The Glassell Park Neighborhood Council. My name is Lucy Rivera and I am the vice chair.
My name is Bradley, I'm one of the Economic Development Land Use Committee members.
I'm Marge Biani, I'm also the committee member.
Jana Grace. I was waiting for Andy.
Andrew Montalegre, co-chair, audio visual.
And I'm Helene Schbach, I'm the recorder.
Should take a cell phone.
Do you have anybody here from public comments? If not, any board member comments, announcements?
Can we have them, since we have a small group, can we have them introduce themselves?
Well, we could do that, yeah.
Great.
Start with you, sir.
Hi, I'm Jared Johnson. Last month I nominated myself for one of the vacancies on the Land Use and Economic Committee. And tonight we'll be voting.
Thank you, Jerry.
Hi, my name is Chris Gabriel. I'm a consultant with the 7-Eleven on the corner of San Fernando and Fletcher.
Hi, my name is Sherry Olsen, and I'm the consultant for 7-Eleven.
It's you.
I'm Adam Bressler, I'm the architect for 3920 North Brilliant.
Welcome, Adam.
Thank you.
Anne?
Yes, Anna Roberts, and I'm a long time Glassell Park resident who cares about what happens to this. Thank you.
I'm Michael Lane, I was here last time, I'm here again regarding the property at 3553 Rail Drive.
I spoke to the zoning administrator.
Oh, good, hope to hear, I'm Ben Herndon, I live across the street from Mike, and I'm very concerned about the vacant lot and the request to build a 3-story monstrosity there, that's how I feel. That's not what needs to be there, and I'm hoping that the architect will be here tonight, we'll see, maybe not.
I'm Brandon Curran. I'm the second self-nominated candidate. I live here in Glassell Park, and I actually have experience on other land use committees as well.
Is there any other public comments? Limited to 10 minutes, we have an agenda. Or 2 minutes per speaker. Anybody else want to say something? We did have the introduction of the 2 candidates last month. Unless there were people here that did not hear the introduction, if you want to introduce yourself again?
We don't mean to put you on the spot.
Sure. Again, I'm Jared Johnson. I work for a small land use consulting firm in West LA. Most of our projects are in Venice. So I've got a lot of experience working with the Venice Neighborhood Council and their land use committee. It was kind of inspired by how active that community was to reach out and get involved in my community.
Brendan, I didn't just move, but I moved back to Glassell Park about a year ago. I lived here for years before. We moved to our house in Mount Washington for a year, and we're back in Glassell Park. I had been active when I was in Mount Washington with the Neighborhood Council and the Land Use Committee, and now that we're back here and we've decided to stay here, I'd like to start to transition my activity to Glassell Park and transition away from Arroyo Seco. So here to try to get on the Land Use Committee and I hope eventually maybe the Neighborhood Council, and I look forward to helping to serve Glassell Park. Thanks.
Okay, we do have 2 committee vacancies. And Brendan Curran and Jared Johnson were here last time, self-nominated. So at this meeting, we are going to be voting.
I'd like to introduce a motion to approve Brendan and the other representative, Jerry, for the 2 open vacancies.
Second.
Jared, I'm sorry. Jared, my apologies.
I second.
Thanks.
Any further
I got
discussion? Okay, no.
Bradley, well, are there anyone abstain? Any noes? Gentlemen, have a seat.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you for volunteering.
One down.
I learned that from Dawn. It's got no choice. We need to know. That was.
Okay, moving right along. Our next project is 3079 North San Fernando.
Can I just make a comment though about the projects on the agenda and for the benefit of the committee members here? We have the new committee members and maybe just to go through some rules and procedures. We have the agenda. It's a format for us to kind of focus our meetings. Our agendas are governed by state law and adopted procedures. We cannot discuss items outside of the agenda, and the agenda must be posted 72 hours in advance, although they can be revised and meetings can be canceled. Agendas are not shopping lists for projects that the community wants to hear about. That's what we have the website for and the project list. I guess there is a list of the project list, which I guess should be posted on the website, the spreadsheet. Under the adopted rules of the committee, the chair prepares the agenda, but the rules are silent on finalization, but historically the recorder has taken on the job of preparing and finalizing the agenda without the chair's approval. So we're trying to get our procedure.
In that case, I think.
Similarly,
Oh, sorry. finish.
Similarly, committees are subgroups of the council. So what happens here needs to be reported to the full committee and acted on or approved or discussed by the full neighborhood council. And it should be reported back to the committee, our members here, what the full neighborhood council does. I'm referring to these rules because the agenda was not approved by the co-chairs, and procedures to notifications for new projects was also not reported back to us committee members. It was just done.
Excuse me, may I?
Yes.
As the interim secretary for the neighborhood council, the minutes from that meeting, which everyone on this committee knew were going to be discussed at the last board meeting, were posted perhaps a day and a half after the meeting took place. Therefore, anyone who was interested in the results of the neighborhood council board meeting could have looked on the.
What date was that?
The 21st was the meeting. I believe I posted them by the afternoon of the 22nd. So the results and all the attending documents were on the website a day later. Anybody on this board, on this committee, could have looked on the website and found what the actions were of the board.
Okay, so if.
Furthermore, according to the
it wouldn't-
bylaws, one of the chairs should be at the
meeting.
meeting, so you know what's being discussed and how the board voted.
Well, again, I'm just establishing the rules. How it was communicated, that's another issue, but that's how it should be done.
And do the rules also state that we had voted that our agendas would be finalized 1 week in advance so that all that communication can be done, and we could include the community in a due process.
Yes, but it does not state that the recorder needs to change it or modify it or take out
It
projects.
also doesn't state that the recorder doesn't hear from the chair for 2 days.
But-
People, let's stop it, I'm sorry.
Well, the reason why I'm focusing that is because.
You gotta stop Andrew.
He's making a comment, he's talking about.
No, he's not making a comment, he's making an attack.
Well, again, so
Oh,
let's move
excuse me,
forward.
I'm making a comment on why a project is on this agenda when I took it off. And wanted to make sure that there's no one here. Richardson Drive is on your agenda, but there's no documentation on Richardson Drive. Okay, let's move on.
That's
We have a-
because
we have
it
a-
has to be
we
done
have a
within,
project.
yeah, I'm sorry, grab that over there. Which I have to first ask, is there any conflict of interest with anyone on this committee for the first project on the agenda?
No.
Thank you.
Okay, let's, are you done, Andy?
No, actually, I have another comment. Sorry. No one's here on Richardson Drive? Okay, so no one showed up, despite it being on the agenda. And Eagle Rock Boulevard, I'm surprised you didn't put that on the agenda. They asked to be taken off.
Andy, just stop, just stop.
Okay,
Stop
folks,
what?
Let's go, let's
go.
move forward.
Eagle
folks.
Rock Boulevard.
You know, just vent, get it out.
Eagle Rock Boulevard, you asked me about that.
They're not coming until next month.
I know, and I communicated that. And that's why they're not here. And I just wanted to say that that's why they're not here. Even though it wasn't, and it wasn't on the agenda. But they will be back. And I wanted to express that concerns for the committee that that is a project that is giving a lot of back and forth. And the applicant has been very generous with his time and an effort going back and forth. And there's some real concerns. I think the committee has some real concerns about it.
Yes.
And they've been working with us. So they asked that it be extended. I took it off the agenda. They asked that it be extended to the next meeting. So they will be back with us. And we're fortunate that we have an applicant present that's willing to work with us because the project has a significant potential impact. And they're just about done with the process. Our input into it is basically at their pleasure. So that's coming up. That'll be in July.
Thank you, Andy.
I have a question on that one if I can.
Is it on the agenda?
Never mind. We can't stop it, can I?
It's not on the agenda.
It's not that way. In fact, that project already has their plans approved. They're just being a little bit generous with their time with us on our concerns about the design. So let's move on to 3079 North San Fernando Road. I think we do have some speakers in here.
And thank you for appearing before us. We recognize the effort you've done to support the GPIA and the GPNC in this community, the 7-Eleven efforts. And I don't think I've said it, but people have said to me, wow, 7-Eleven has helped out with this project and with this project. And I haven't stated it, but at least here's an opportunity to say thank you. Thank you for it. And while we've taken the task on, on something else. So I guess Bradley had asked that this be addressed, and you want to start, or should we just go back and forth?
Go ahead.
How do you want us to
Go ahead, give us a background on this project.
Give you a background on it? Well,
Status of the conditions.
the status of conditions, okay. Okay. We have
definitely got approval from the zoning administrator after we met with you guys. We took it, we've been working with you, we were not selling alcohol this time in our store. We are trying to do that, but it's taking some time due to the fact of some other legalities. But right now what we're doing is we reached out to the franchise and to making sure that he's complying to all of his conditions of approval that were put onto the CDP by the ZA. And finally, we've got our planter boxes out front. I don't know if you guys have seen them. I know they are, let me hand this out to you. I know they're small, but they are what you guys requested. These are,
I tried to put the drawing up on the.
And Andrew, I sent you an email, I don't know if you have the email access, it's just with the PowerPoint that Sherry's handed out.
I would try, but I have the site plan that was done.
Do you have an extra?
You can have mine.
Okay.
Do you have a disc
I don't-
or?
Did you get the email? Or can you?
I mean, I have it on my phone.
Can you? To the internet?
Can I?
No, I didn't get the email, but
I can send you an email, but I don't know if you'll be able
Well,
to.
if I may, Mr. Chair, or Ms.
Let's just go
Chair.
with it.
Okay. I just had 3 concerns. And number 1 was the planters. Number 2 was the easy access onto San Fernando at the corner intersection of Fletcher and San Fernando. And third had to do with the nuisance that is congregating in that specific location. And
On
I'm
the
speaking
corner?
on the corner. I'm speaking specifically of the Flower Lady and the
The flower lady that's at the.
one that solicits.
Down by the AutoZone.
No, the one that's actually at the corner where the sign says 7-Eleven.
Okay.
And right where the planters are at the corner.
Okay.
And so that happens on a regular basis, and I've actually stopped in to the store and asked the manager to please have that person removed and let them know that there are conditions on the site, inform them that they have the right to sell, but unfortunately not at this specific location. And those are the 3 things that I have a problem with, because those are the 3 things that I knew would pop up
Okay.
as soon as the building was built, or was
So the flower lady
remodeled.
that stands on the corner.
Any type of solicitation is not allowed on that specific corner.
Okay. I've been there 3 times, I've never seen the flower lady. I've seen her.
Every time.
So she stands right there on that corner.
Every time.
Okay.
At the base of the
We
sign.
Yeah, that's,
do have the capability of moving her. I did not know about the
You
flower
do.
lady.
all you have to do is go and just, and I don't mean to be rude, it's just.
Well, no, because the property owner, we're going to put pressure on the property owner that owns that center, because obviously, AutoZone is there with us, too, we have problems with AutoZone, not keeping their area clean. And it trickling down into on our sidewalk, and us having to constantly go out and power wash, because
The oil that they
the
charge,
oil, the
yes.
dirtiness is disgusting to us. So, we're addressing that concern. I will make sure that happens, that the flower lady does disappear. Is she on the sidewalk? We can move her.
Well, no,
Keep moving
all,
around.
you can't touch her. All I'm
No, no, I know.
just saying is
I
because
don't figure out.
she has a right to conduct business. However, at that specific location, within that specific parameter, it was.
It's already a hard location as it is.
Right.
Everybody knows, and this is one of our problems. Let's go to the driveway.
Yes.
Okay, I stood out in that parking lot for 3 hours and watched the flow of traffic. It is it's very difficult. That whole parking lot is completely different. There's no setbacks on any backing up. When you back up, you're on the sidewalk. So, and people are cutting through the parking lot. They do cut through the parking lot. Whether we close a driveway is not going to be different. Say start from here, wherever, they are backing up. And the reason the ZA did not close the driveways, he was afraid of safety issues on the fact of the driveways, because of people, how they're going through the parking lot, because they're cutting into the pie there, and cars are trying to back up. It's really, it's not a very good design of a parking lot at all.
Forgive me for interjecting, because I have to speak about this,
Yeah, go for it.
is
Probably gonna say the same thing.
if you notice, if you've been there long enough, I lived there for 25 years, I can tell you, any vehicles that are coming close to that intersection will run over people, because there's a lot of people that congregate in those areas. Those are bus locations. When this committee agreed to approve it with some of the issues that we had mitigated at that time, we discussed the closure of 2 driveways nearest to the intersection of Fletcher and San Fernando, for which the owner, who was here at that time, did say he would look into it and consider it. It's not even been considered. There's already a stripe there that says they can go out of that specific location. And I can tell you, yeah,
Just for reference, Bradley, I'm showing the ZA approval site plan, it does not show that they restricted the curb.
if I may, there's a sign that already allows them to go in and out of that location. The street is right here.
Yeah.
This is where the
Flower boxes.
flower lady and the flower box is, as well as there's
She's under our sign or she's on the side?
she's under the sign. She sits right there
Okay,
for hours.
so she's sitting on our planter box, pretty much.
She has set up shop at that location.
Because I know that we ordered specifically the plants that you guys had up there,
Right.
especially to do with the low tones. We had to order them, believe it or not, I don't know, they're in high demand. We ordered them, and obviously they're babies, and they're gonna have, if you'll look at the growth of them that's in your package, they will grow, they will spread, and they will be pretty, but it's gonna take them some time to grow. As for the driveways, I know the ZA had some concerns with that. We can go back to the traffic department, making sure, because when you back up out of those spots, it looks like there's more room there on that design, but I'm telling you right now, I backed my car up and I'm already in the sidewalk. And you really have to watch out for pedestrians. So I'm really concerned if we close that driveway there, which you're talking about, and the ZA allows it and the city allows us to do that, because it has to go through the city, allowing us to do that. To close that driveway and to make it a curb cut. If we do that, how many more people are gonna be congregating right there?
You mean to eliminate the curb?
You're taking it away.
Not
No,
taking it to
Or
curb,
were you
it's
just gonna put some
the
bollards in
driveways.
there and?
That's what I'm thinking.
Are you saying like
Simple like that.
limiting?
No, I said
Like,
just put some
which one is
bollards
it?
up there. Put some-
Are we talking about eliminating
You're
this
talking
one,
about eliminating that driveway right there.
this one right here?
I'm just thinking you can put some bollards up there, some vehicle stops right there, just 2 posts right there.
Yeah, but don't you think that was terrible, the 2 posts right there?
Or put 2 giant planters there. My feeling is that with all,
That's for people not to back through the windows.
Yeah, but I mean, it wouldn't look any different from those, right?
Well, unless they back up into them.
but those are plastic, aren't they? The ones that in the rear.
Yeah.
Plastic ones.
Yeah, just right.
They'll go right over it.
They're ceramic, got it.
Yeah, I mean.
My feeling was, when we were discussing this in the first place, is that with all those driveways, people coming out of that lot onto San Fernando Road, when you're trying to drive down San Fernando Road, you are stopped at every driveway with somebody wanting to merge into traffic. So you've got 4 driveways funneling traffic onto San Fernando Road, which is already a nightmare at that intersection. So eliminating a driveway or 2 would benefit both the
Circulation.
cars that are there by not having incoming while they're trying to get out, and also
1, 2, 3.
help the
Well,
people on
there
San
are 4.
Fernando Road who are just stuck behind cars trying to get out, because they inch their way out and then you're stuck.
And there's buses that are longer than that second
Right.
driveway at that intersection.
Well, I mean, the only thing we can do is go back to the owner of the property, because we don't own the property there.
I
Go back to the owner of the property, and if he said he's going to visit it, he needs to really go visit it with go ahead.
One thing you can ask him too is if each parking space was angled a bit,
I
it'd be
agree.
easier to back out.
And it
you
would
wouldn't-
also,
You wouldn't have to back out onto the sidewalk, you could just kind of back right out
Just
into the,
one direction you're talking about.
and it would encourage people to go out
Yeah.
all in one direction as well.
it'd be a one-way, yeah.
So I have a question, did the ZA just ignore the recommendations that we had, or was it the owner of the property?
Well, we don't have the ZA. so-
Yes, I
Yeah, we did.
provided it and we
No, it
forwarded
was
it
in
to
the
you.
package to the ZA,
Right.
and the ZA would have concern
I
with
sent
safety.
it to Lean and she sent it to him.
And no, I saw it,
And
that's why I was looking for it, but I
the
never
parking
saw it.
as the building department approved it. All this was approved through building and safety. So that's who we have to go back through, is building and safety, to making sure that if we do close that driveway, because we can't just go out there and close it.
Sure.
You have to make sure from them that everything's legally done correctly and they're supported. They support that closure of that driveway. We, don't have control over that. Alls I can do is go back to the owner. I'll make the owner I'll invite him, I won't wake up, but I'll invite him back to the next meeting here with us and having him address that with documents from the city.
If I may,
Sure.
my last comment on that issue. My suggestion would be, the owner can put up ballards at those driveway access and egresses. People do it all the time in the residential areas. So they can put up the posts to deter
Yeah.
people from using those driveways if they want. They don't have to get approval for those. They don't
And
have
they're
to
removable,
And
because they just go in
put them right in
a
a.
hole in the ground and then you can
Oh,
see.
you
And it
mean the
doesn't-
one that come up out of
Oh,
the.
sure, they're not required to have permits for those.
No,
But-
the spikes. They're not talking about the spikes.
No, you're talking about the pole that goes in, sinks
Oh,
in.
yeah, just,
Yeah, but they're removable.
they're removable, and just try it and see how it works. Because the next thing is we're gonna sit here and talk about how we can change the direction of flow on the site and the changing of the parking, because it's not working. And
Right.
we tried to find a way to, I know this committee tried to find a way to find a common ground, even though we had some serious issues with not only the site, but traffic flow coming in and out of the property.
And it's not, it's just a bad parking lot, it really is a bad parking lot. I've been in it, it's not really great at all. But that being said, there is parking over here on the side, there is parking to the rear, more to the rear. There is a recycling center with Jesus on it. And so that back there, it does have additional parking. But most of the people that are coming in that parking lot, I'll tell you, a lot of them are just using it as a pass-through. And I noticed that, and they really don't care about pedestrians in that lot, because I'm stuck in it, so. But I think that being said, we can go back to the property owner, we can look at those issues and try to address them. Like I said, it was the ZA, because he knew what you guys have, he knew that you requested that in the beginning, and he had some concerns with safety. And the fact that, it's not the fact that he agreed, he said there's a lot of driveways, but it's the backup. There's not much room to back up.
But I don't think the driveways affect that. I mean, how does that, having more driveways makes it easier to back up? I don't think so.
No, it's just pedestrians being on the sidewalk when you
They
back
back
up.
into the.
Yeah, but-
Pedestrians.
But pedestrians also.
They don't stand in a driveway, they mostly stand on the sidewalk. So there's a driveway there,
Oh, I see, you think that by having 4 driveways, there are fewer pedestrians.
well.
No, I'm just saying
Well,
that
I don't know
we're
about
talking
that.
we're talking
I don't
about
know about
also
that. I don't
talking
know
about
what his thoughts were
loitering,
with
and
it.
if we're talking about loitering, then is
When
that
you
what
go-
we're talking about,
when
or
you
just
go
talking about
back-
passersby?
Well,
When you go back, can you suggest what this gentleman did, which is the angling, that
Well,
makes.
fixes
depends
the
on,
visual as a whole.
and that was approved. This was, a layout was approved by, like I said, building and safety. To turn the driveways, what you're saying,
Not turning the driveway.
I know you're making them slanted.
The
I don't
parking
know
spaces.
if it would, I don't know the configuration of it, if it would take away parking by doing that.
It wouldn't.
Maybe
Or it
maybe
would-
one spot.
Yeah. And I don't, I see what you're saying with the flow.
Would you consider discussing with the owner?
Absolutely, we'll discuss it with the owner
So the
and
removable posts is,
it's a
It's a
great
good
idea. It's a
idea.
great idea to see what it does to the flow of the traffic
Absolutely.
there.
and your point is a good point, is if indeed it isn't working or some other problems are created that we didn't foresee, you can always remove them and cap it, and if there's, sometimes the 7-Eleven does an event over there, so it's nice to cut off the parking, but if it works, then it stays permanent, if it doesn't, then it can be moved.
And I see your point with it being closest to the, towards Fletcher. But the problem is starting on the 3rd driveway or the 4th driveway, they're trying to cut the traffic and standing in line to go to turn right.
Again, I don't mind them cutting the traffic, that's not
And
the
actually,
issue
they'll
for me.
go around the building too, so they'll
It's
watch
the fact that they come out of that first driveway
Oh, yeah,
closest, or second
into-
driveway closest to
into
Fletcher.
the, okay.
I mean, I was
We
there
can-
just today and I was furious.
Okay, well, we can try the post, and it's something that we'll present to the owner. I mean, I can sit here and say, yeah, we'll do it, but I've got to get his
Right.
permission to do it.
Yeah.
So, we'll definitely, his name is Andy, we'll bring it up to Andy and let him know that what you guys would like to see on it, to see how that does flow.
Just a thought, which is if the parking spaces were diagonal and it was one way, then everybody would be coming out over here on Fletcher. which,
Better.
Which is
here's,
better,
here's the
Well,
thing,
Fletcher's
people,
great
people will
if you wanna
turn
turn.
left that close to an
That's-
intersection, I
that's
see it all the time. And that'll create another nightmare,
Oh, yeah.
because if they wanted to go right out of the parking lot, and they couldn't, people won't go down the street and turn around, they're just like,
Well, over on the
One
left
thing
hand
at a time.
Yeah,
Let's try
okay,
one
let's just,
problem
let's
at a
try the post, that over there to the left, there is no parking on the side,
Fletcher.
over to the far Fletcher. There is no parking on that side of this, building, where that drive is.
There actually is,
You mean like this way?
Oh, yeah.
Diagonals.
They're
It's
diagonal.
but it's diagonal, parking.
Alongside the restaurant, right?
Oh, yeah.
The Fletcher.
Yeah, I understand it's not supposed to, but they actually haven't removed the parking stalls that are diagonal. I'm sorry, diagonal, they haven't removed those. And again, for me, as a committee member, I'm not trying to stop the project, I'm looking for a way to make it even better.
Right.
For not only the area, but also for the business customers and the business as a whole.
No, I agree.
And safer.
I agree.
Yes.
It sounds like it's only a matter of time until someone gets hurt.
If they haven't already, then we haven't heard.
Just a thought.
But you're right about the limited space, because comparing this 7-Eleven to the one on El Paso, I mean, there's plenty of room there to maneuver your car without getting
That's
into
way
the
safer.
sidewalk.
And there's not, and then even with the planter box on the corner, it's a pretty big planter box. It's the L shape down at the bottom. Even backing out of that handicap, you really gotta be careful, because you're gonna hit that planter box. So, but we will address that with Andy, and if you put us back on the agenda, we'll be
Do you
more
want
happy.
to be together on the next agenda or keep them separate still?
Still care to keep them separate, that would, it makes
But
it
on
more,
the same
less
meeting?
confusing.
What is separate?
Well, we have another, several on the site, we were trying to keep all our sites separate, so we're not discussing many
We're
sites
coming
all the
up
time.
again in a month or so.
Oh, okay, so it's separate.
Here in Glassell Park?
Let
Yes.
us know when,
Yeah, Glassell.
just let me know how you want to do it,
Okay.
okay? Just let me
This
know.
is the one just up San Fernando Road?
Yeah,
Yes.
Glassell.
So, right now, so the post, is that the issue besides?
Just try something different,
Okay.
try to improve the site.
I agree.
Just for clarification, Bradley, was that for 2 driveways?
Yes, you're correct,
Okay, which 2 are you talking about?
the one's closest to Fletcher.
So,
First two.
the first 2.
The ones that feed right into where the traffic jam happens.
you mean only on San Fernando, not on Fletcher?
No, Fletcher you can't do anything about, that's.
How many driveways on Fletcher?
There's only 2, there's 2, yes, in and out.
Would it make any sense at all to block one of those on Fletcher, so they're driving through the parking lot just to skirt the intersection?
Still, they can still do it.
There's,
Yeah,
there's
they-
skirting
so
right
they can't get-
alongside the,
They can't get to the first driveway, they can't exit out of the first driveway closest to San Fernando, they have to actually go all the way over in order to catch the traffic.
Oh, I thought it was coming the other way, San Fernando and then trying to get to Fletcher without with
It's kind of like that U-turn thing, you come in on.
Just to be clear, you're going to be discussing with the owner the balance on the 2 driveways. Will you be engaging in dialogue about angled parking?
not at this time, we're gonna try the flow like this, because to go into all of that, we would have to go back through and get all approved again for building and safety
Makes
on
sense.
changing this
One thing
parking
at a
lot.
time.
One thing at a time.
One thing
Yeah,
at a
let's
time.
see what we can do to mitigate, so you want 2 driveways
You know,
going this one.
Yeah, we're,
How, and Andy, how is that gonna work with flow going into the businesses?
these 2. How is that done, what?
Flow going into the businesses, like, you just cut off all the area going down by the, because now you've got just, see, we're not the only tenant in that building. So you've got 3. You've got the Chinese business in the corner, then you have 7-Eleven, and then you have AutoZone. So now that the traffic, and then you've got a little kiosk over there somewhere on the corner.
Let's just try.
One thing to think about is if those last 2 driveways in San Fernando are closed off or inaccessible to enter, all those parked there are gonna feel a lot safer backing up, and,
That's
there
most
wouldn't be
pedestrians will feel safer.
yeah, and just, it could help backing up and leaving as well.
Let's just try.
We'll certainly bring it to the attention of the owner. The only thing I could foresee is, when you're going to the 7-Eleven and you're headed on San Fernando towards Fletcher, if you go to the AutoZone or if you go to the Cricket Wireless, having those last two open is perfect. Kind of go right in. Going in the last two stalls and then traversing the entire parking lot to the 7-Eleven is a little bit tricky because it is clogged. If you notice, a lot of folks that go to the 7-Eleven, and even if I do, I normally park in the back, but if I were to park in the front, I would go through the first two the first two driveways closest to Fletcher, because it is a little bit, it feels safer. It doesn't feel as congested or as tight, because I feel like, shoot, if I go in here, there are cars backing up, it is a smaller driveway. I have to kind of cruise my way, make a wide turn and get in there, versus if I came down San Fernando, went in the two driveways, I can get into those kind of 6 spots that are designated towards.
As a committee member, I'm just gonna say this, as a committee member, I can't speak on behalf of the committee, but I can just say this. Let's just try it, let's not debate it, let's just try and see. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but at least let's find the simplest
Yeah, I
path
think that's what we're just talking about.
to that.
Small steps, try
Small
it.
steps, let's just try it, let's not negate it before it even tries. I mean, we had some issues with regard to this location, as you know. And what we don't want to do is we don't want to bring up any further issues that might create even more mitigations that may be coming up. So let's just try something basic and simple.
I guess
Can I
all we're
respond
asking
to your
is,
point real quick? If you've lived here for a long time, you'll know that what you said doesn't make any sense if there's ever traffic, because you will not wait the 4 red lights to get that close. Because if you're about to go into this building, you're gonna be sitting behind a long string of cars, and the minute a driveway opens up, I mean, as soon as the cars are out of the way, you'll go into the parking lot. But you have to wait a really long time to get to that front driveway. So nobody's gonna wanna use those driveways anyway. I myself have never stopped there because it's just a nightmare corner.
True, I mean, going there a lot, I don't always go during heavy traffic time, either noon, sometimes 11 to, so for me, maybe the experience is slightly different, but I do understand what you're saying. And to Bradley's point, bring it up to the owner and let's attempt it, and let's see what we can do.
And maybe is
See
it
how
Fix the
all
problem.
times of the day,
Yeah.
or is it just high traffic
It
times?
may fix the problem.
And I know baby steps, but just to your point, the angle parking would fix that.
But before we get to angle parking, let's
yeah,
just try
let's-
finding a mitigation.
and I would like to remind the committee that this is all voluntary on
Yes.
the part of the applicant. There's no leverage here.
The loitering is in the ZA's determination.
Loitering, yes,
remember
I'm
that.
talking about, yes, in fact, well,
The flowers, you're talking about the flower lady, this loitering.
And any other nuisance
And
loitering.
the flower lady is the one that also sells the glow-in-the-dark bracelets.
That's a separate vendor.
It's a separate one?
Yes.
I've seen that one.
That's a separate vendor. And then wait till the one little couches come. That's a third vendor. If one person sets up vending in one location, you establish. So it-
Okay. Well, we'll address that right away then. I think the flower lady was there.
And the guy that sells fruit was smart enough to take our notice when we told him he couldn't do it on the corner, and he moved 100 feet up, past Burger King, on the other side. Not a soul is bothering him, he doesn't create any congestion, he's been there for, I don't know.
Maybe we can have her go join you.
Yes.
Just thoughts.
Is there any other, that we need to address that we need to take care of for you guys?
Decided. We can move right along. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So will that be for the next meeting in July?
Yeah, I'm going to, I'll
How
get
do
with
you wanna
Andy
do it?
on it and send him an email. I need to check to make sure that the property owner is available.
That you
Or
can
is his,
communicate with them by the time.
Yes.
right,
You'll
and
let-
start communicating with him and seeing what the cost is going to be. It doesn't seem like a lot of cost to drill a hole and drill a pipe in it. But to do that, I think that will, he's got a great plan.
And you could use our letter.
Yeah, I will. Definitely will. Definitely we want to make you guys happy.
Thank you.
Thank you again for coming.
Yes, thank you.
3920
Okay.
North Brilliant.
Before we do that one, do you wanna wait on that one?
For
I
what?
thought Ryan said he was going to wait till 8, so that item gets put on, till we hear it. Or do you wanna go ahead?
Let's go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
We ready? Okay, go ahead.
It's items.
We're proceeding.
North Brilliant.
Yeah.
Thank you
okay.
very much.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
3920 North Brilliant.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't know I was gonna be like speaking and stuff, but.
But we're not formal here,
Okay.
so, let's see, I need to put your drawings up.
Okay. Basically, it's a proposal for a 2332 square
Oh,
foot.
excuse me, thank
Oh,
you.
okay.
On this one, I have to recuse myself. I will not function as a co-chair, but as a member of the Glassell Park community. Yes, but Ruby, it's all yours.
Thank you.
Andrew, you actually have to leave the room if you recuse yourself.
I'm a member of the community.
He's taking a
that's not how it
presentation, but
goes.
he can't
If
stay
you're
for
on,
the
if you're on the
discussion.
committee,
correct.
you're not allowed to be in here because you might make eye contact and wink, wink at us. I just took the ethics training and it did say you have
That's
to
for
leave
a
the
board
room.
member or for a committee member?
It said for neighborhood council business, so since this is the committee of the
So
neighborhood.
how does a
council-
member of the community who's also a board member?
They actually point out that you wanna be careful not to have too many members of a committee be part of the same organization, because then those things from that organization will never get to be heard, because you'll always break quorum, because that person has to leave the room.
I'm not following, but I'm just talking about as a member of the community, not as a co-chair. How do they are able to participate?
Well, Andrew, everybody on the board is a member of the community. But if you have any personal interest in this project, recusal means you have to leave the room completely.
And that's under which?
It's
It's the
true.
board.
It's completely
It's
true.
true.
When I
It's
asked,
trending.
Then,
I asked the board to.
Actually,
It's
it
just
should be
ethics.
under 6G.
Ethics committee, ethics rules.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's okay. Yeah, really.
Well,
Does anyone?
when I asked the board to approve the GPA news getting copied, I had to walk out of the room entirely. I couldn't-
No, I'm just saying, we can just proceed. We've got another co-chair here that can take over.
Right, so he
Yeah,
did.
but who wants to do this then?
Somebody can. 3920 North Brilliant. You mean the presentation?
Yeah, I have to get. Can you do that one? Let me get it. Let me turn it around. Angle it. Okay.
What's that urban planner?
What are we doing?
Urban planner.
It's a big upslope lot.
Mhm.
It's a proposal for a new construction, single-family residence, 2332 square feet. That's including the attached garage. So that's what's allowable by the Mount Washington specific plan.
So no variances being asked for at all?
The only thing is a ZAD for roadway width.
Oh,
Roadway.
the same thing.
So, yeah,
That much I know.
Is that in front of the property?
yes.
And what is it currently?
It's approximately 18 feet paved.
Uh-huh.
So for BHO, that requires 20-foot continuous paved from the base of the hillside.
Yes. Are you planning to increase the width to the 20 feet minimum for
He
your
doesn't have to
property line?
increase it 20 feet. What is the improvement from the center line to your property? What is the improvement
From the center line to the property line, it's,
of improved pavement?
let me check the survey. For the center line to the.
Because you have to improve from the front of your property.
Well, we're proposing not to improve because we're doing a ZAD.
Well, the ZAD is for 3 different things. However, as the recorder has stated, there's 2 different choices of the ZAD that you presented. Number 1 is in front of your property, and the second one is from your property down to the hillside street.
Right.
So which one are you requesting the ZAD waiver for?
So we're requesting for the reduced roadway in front as well as to the base.
So both.
So basically, because if you want to get out of doing the 20-foot roadway, you have to do the whole thing. You can't do it just in front of your property.
Of course you can.
Everybody does.
Everybody does. That's why I'm wondering which one you're asking.
So here's the thing, So are you saying that if we would improve to 20 feet in front of our property, then we wouldn't have to do a ZAD?
If I may, what I'm basically saying is that in accordance to when this hillside regulation, I work in hillsides all the time. The way that this was set up is for that the property owner to improve from the center line to their property
Right.
10 feet.
Right.
And then secondly is a request to permit a waiver of the 20-foot all the way down to the intersection or the hillside intersection.
Yeah. Well,
So
yeah, sorry.
the ZA never, and I'm gonna say this now, the ZA never waives the improvement to the front. Not one case in over 17 years
Right.
has the ZA allowed an owner in Glassell Park, I can't speak of Mount Washington or Silver Lake, but I can speak of Glassell Park, has ever allowed an owner to not improve in front of their property.
Right, okay. So in front of the property is different from the ZAD. So the ZAD, we don't want to do the 20 feet the whole way to the baseline.
I have to ask what you're gonna do, because that's what we're looking at, what he wants, what he's asking.
Right. Yeah. So I think we're going to be required to do right in front of the property, because the property line is actually way back from where the pavement stops.
Mhm.
So that's no big deal. But the ZAD is the main thing. We don't want to do 20 feet the whole way to the base of the hill.
Madam Recorder, do you know what he's requesting at all?
I just think there's some clarity issues. I think you stated it perfectly, Bradley. Two separate things, and I think as Bradley says, it's always been wavered that I know of, and you have the experience, that they're not going to make you improve it to 20-foot width all the way down to the base of the hill, but they do make you responsible for that portion that is in front of the property that you're developing.
What is he asking for? What is he asking for?
I'm not sure.
Sorry, I have a question.
So how,
So
you were planning on leaving the road unimproved completely, right? You just were gonna leave it the way it is and build your house on the property itself and ignore the road in front of it. That was your preference?
That's our preference.
And
but
do
I
we know how wide the road is now?
It's approximately 18 feet. I'm not sure about the center line, but I can check that.
Do you have plans?
I do.
Could we please see those, sir?
Yeah. They're also on the
Tell me what you want pulled up and I'll.
Oh, okay.
I actually have a question also before. There's a ZAD and a ZAA.
Yeah.
What's the ZAA?
So the ZAA is for reduced lot width. Reduced lot size. Now, the thing about that is recently we were told we don't need to do that, so you're supposed to apply for a refund.
That's correct.
Because back in the day, whoever reduced the lots, well, I know who reduced the lot size, but they did it strict compliance. So, meaning we don't need to do anything more with doing the ZAD.
It's legal non-conforming, so you're not required anything.
So, which is what I thought at the beginning, but then when I meet at the planning counter, they tell me otherwise.
Don't worry about that.
So we
You
were,
don't have to do the ZA, don't worry.
the ZAA, right?
But I'm still trying to get clear
Yeah.
on the ZAD.
Well, maybe if we could pull it up and he could point out to us, we could see the center line. Would we be able to see that on one of
I
the?
think the survey is on there, if you keep scrolling through.
Whoops.
We basically, someone else had got a approved ZAD and ZAA back in, I think, 2003 or 2004. So we basically applied for the same thing as they did. So they had that approved and everything. So, but obviously that expired because that was so long ago. So we basically applied for the same thing. So there's the survey.
Oh, yes. Excuse me.
But I think
So this is the, okay, so this is the edge of the pavement right here. And this is the property line, I assume, right here?
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
Come
I can
around.
try to zoom
The
in.
center of the roadway, and that's the edge of the roadway.
Yeah.
It
I don't-
says
know
edge
if-
of pavement right here.
yeah,
No,
so
look where the brilliant drive words are though, that's gotta be the street.
Oh, that's on the other side, you're saying?
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm
so
saying
it's
it's at least
all,
the
so
center,
this
not
right
the other
here.
side.
so The property line, okay, so there's
This
a
is the
dead,
center line.
well, there's a existing property line and there's a 3-foot dedication,
Mhm.
and then our setback starts. So, it's hard to see it.
Is there a different slide that may be more helpful?
Yeah, if you go to, keep going. Actually, here, let's just look at.
Yeah, that's just.
It's all right. I come around here and you could just, Marge, you want to make some room on the table and lay it
I
out?
don't see a slide here that would
Just want to see the
Is
survey.
there a slide that shows where that is in relation to other houses in
Yeah.
Glassell Park?
well,
Like
it's a
that
lot
one?
less.
Yeah, that one. I just wanna know where on Brilliant Drive we're talking about.
Center line is here.
Oh, it's tiny.
I can
don't
zoom in,
think that's the
probably.
center line. So here's, wait, no, here's the existing. Okay, here's the existing property line corner. So there and there. This is all dirt. There's a fire hydrant there. This is the toilet slope. This is where the concrete ends.
Okay, so from here to here is the center line, because that's where I remember, these are 30-foot wide streets. So it would make sense, yes.
Yeah.
As far as the improved public right of way. I mean, I'm sorry, the unimproved public right of way is 30 feet total. So for Collector Street. So we've got 15 from here to here. So this would be the property line here as it exists.
Right.
And so therefore, this is the pavement, the edge of the pavement. So from here to here is 15, so we would need to at least have 10 feet from the center line to here. Well, this is the center line right here, so we would need to have 10 feet. Not necessarily a curve, but definitely pavement.
I walk that
I
there.
know you do.
And this is a blind curve here,
Yeah.
and cars park along here, so the roadway is actually not wide enough for a car or a truck to come through.
When the cars park.
When the cars are parked in there, and there are cars parked there, so to walk there, I have to go between two parked cars in order to allow for this. So I know what the law says, but I also know kind of the practice.
That's how it really is.
There's the, so the baseline hillside, the hillside referral form says vegetation and all that. So I think the.
You're fine. We're just letting you know kind of what the requirement is for the specific plan and what the CA will not waive. And in front of your property, they won't waive it. I've never known any committee member in the history I've been dealing here that will allow for the waiver in the front.
Newish, but.
What about the houses on Cazador, how did they get in?
Well, there's already an improvement that was already wider at that specific location.
Why?
Well, I'm not saying it is wider as far as technically or tangibly, I'm just saying according to the surveys with regard to
The
this.
surveys are inaccurate because the games broke.
Okay, I can get it, I can dig it.
Yes,
And I can help with
from the
my
center.
and
Yeah,
the-
so when we had the hillside referral form filled out, they look at all that. and they-
Separate issue. Hillside referral form.
It's the, right, but when they talk about the dedication and the part
But that's something entirely different than the actual request for the waiver of the center line. I've been doing this for 25 years. This is how long I've really been doing it, but for 25 years, I can tell you.
I know, it's just that some people say different things about this roadway and stuff.
I understand.
And it's like,
I understand.
even when you go to the, you're engineer downtown, you're in GPNC, they tell you to.
Yes, they do. I'm gonna tell you what I know and what my expertise has taught me, and that is, if this is the center line, you need to maintain 10 feet.
Right.
It doesn't mean 10 feet to your property line, but 10 feet minimum,
To where the curve would be.
where the curb would be.
Because we have all this.
Right, but again, that's the way that it's understood. I've never known this committee or a CA to waive that requirement since they started 1217E.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to improve the front. And but I don't know what you're requesting because that's how the committee's gonna make a recommendation
We can
or?
always give them that. I mean, if whatever else you have to present today, we can, if we support it, then we can say, if and only if,
Right, right,
it complies with the, so regardless.
Okay.
We can make determinations depending on what else you have to tell us.
Well, the ZAD is for the big thing, is that we don't want to go beyond 20 people.
okay,
Yeah,
that's great, perfect.
Almost
Keep,
no one
stay,
has
keep
to.
it, stay there.
Yeah.
Don't add, just stay there.
So,
And I think did you know at all by chance, Helene, what he's asking for on his application? Or was it just two things or one thing or all three? Or?
I actually do not know.
Okay,
I didn't get specific information on this, just whatever
It's
was
on here, but
distributed.
I don't see.
It wasn't clarified, but as Marge is, and we're all kind of in concurrence here, kind of stick to the
It's the last
CADs
page.
or specifically the
Next to last
substandard
thing on
road
the
all
last
the way
page.
down
Let
to
me just
the
make sure I
hillside
don't have
extension.
that in my
And you'll,
stuff.
but if it's for the one on the front,
I'm looking, I don't think so.
so we want you to be able to do it one project like everybody else, but there are going to be those minimum standards.
well, what's crazy is that when you go to Van Nuys, when I talk to the people at Van Nuys, they're on this.
There's no location on there.
Yes, I do.
Well, how do you
They
do?
don't need to apply for a ZAD, basically.
Okay.
Well, that's Van Nuys. That's Van Nuys, I ain't worried about Van Nuys. They crazy. I ain't worried about Van Nuys. I was there today, ain't worried.
Very nice, that's so nice. Hopefully Glassell Park.
So
Union
at one
next.
point, and I'm sorry it gets confusing, but guys, what I do is when I do receive these things, Brendan, I scan them and I do give them to all the committee members. But then that, sometimes months pass.
It's the app, you know what I'm looking
I
for.
do.
You-
I'm just like around.
Greedy, I'm like, I want it. Okay.
So, yeah, down to the bottom.
Okay, so this is what he's asking. So the ZAB is not even in there. Did you want to see the retaining walls?
No.
They got it.
Yes. Which is unusual considering the way that all the other houses are situated. You know, it's just kind of gonna kill itself. And the reason I think
What's this, is near the, this which, this on the third side.
to hold a hard conversation because that's.
The retaining walls are okay?
Yeah.
Okay,
And he doesn't, there's no way he can get rid of that church. I think it's actually.
So
on our property.
basically, the
And so
line
there's nothing
was
to do.
someone
So in
that
order
maybe
to
10 years
ensure
ago
that that
started
house is
excavating
actually
the
valuable.
hillside,
it's still
they did it over,
in
not
there
farming
to
over
get back to
cuts. So basically, there's
But
this big chunk
The
sticking
only
out
thing
the hill,
is,
right now, it's just sitting there. So there's orders to comply on the farm right now for several different, they've issued it several times.
so what does the committee want to look at doing? Because I think,
They're good guys, but I think
it's
there's.
kind of very clear where.
Can we see more?
What else are we here to talk about besides
They,
the
they
road?
actually just.
Nothing else.
It's just not Washington.
Yes.
Yeah.
But,
Can we see what it's gonna look
It's
like?
just a city manager.
Hear about the nice.
So,
What's
do
that?
we wanna see
Can we see what it's gonna look like? And
Oh.
figure out
Do
if
we
we
have like renderings of the house itself?
There's
I'm up here.
Right.
So what are we-
But the big thing is that house.
So now we're just looking at that to see what, if we have any.
Well, the committee doesn't have any discretion over the design, of course, but it's always good to see.
No, I know.
Much like we did
What
before, we sometimes
We
put
do,
a letter
we
just
do
to
like to
say.
see it.
what are we looking,
Oh, I thought that's what you.
We have discretion over the design.
What is the,
Get my 2 cents.
Yeah, we do.
But if we're gonna write a letter saying that we approve of it, if we haven't seen how it looks, then we can't comment on those aspects of it. So,
so we're just looking at the street, right?
I'm only concerned about what he's asking for in the
My
CA.
best like to.
That's all I'm
can I
concerned
ask what the lot size is?
Jack change.
466.
I can write it.
Thanks.
4,666.
Well, I don't know, it's because of.
What?
I get it.
Well,
This area.
somebody,
There's concerns, I'm not sure.
several years ago, said,
Okay, good.
I'll be
add
tomorrow.
this lot to their lot. And, lots, sort of consideration. So one like a bigger one, one that's smaller.
And this has never been built on, there's nothing on it now.
Is this an R1?
Yes.
Sweet. So,
And it's not like overly tall or
No.
anything? Okay.
it's within the height districts, it's modulated properly, it's a front yard setback, but it's gonna have more front yard setback than most of them.
How many square feet is it?
2,332, that's including the
I
garage.
don't, I
So it's in compliance to everything,
Everything.
except the ones hundred and one.
Well,
Enough room around it for.
Yes.
what material is the siding?
That is, it's a wood siding called fire blocker that meets the requirements of the fire hazard zone.
It's like hardy plank?
But the
No,
two things specifically
It's sort of
that I'm
the
concerned
tongue,
about is the
sort of the tongue and groove side, wood siding.
It's not 4x8 sheets right here.
That's what you said.
It's not the giant sheets
No,
on
that's-
that.
Or is it
individual
increased?
boards.
We like it. They still say, but you have to improve that road, right?
You have to put it in front of the property.
Right.
It's at the back.
We're not
Okay, so,
aspect of it anymore.
we have nothing here except to encourage you to, you know, improve the street in front of the place. Because
That's what's done. I mean, that's.
So do we have a motion?
I'd like to just a motion to,
Wait, before you make the motion, can I just ask, are you having to cut down any trees to put the house here?
No.
There are no trees there.
There's some on the lower level, if you drive up there, you'll see these are overgrown, or it's called overgrown weeds. They look like really ugly trees, but they're not considered trees, they're just shrubs.
Helianthus? The tree of heaven, which is
I
actually
think,
not.
I think that's what it is. It sort of looks like an overgrown weird weed.
Yeah, I call it tree of Satan.
That grows really-
I'd like to introduce the motion to approve the ZAD request for, to allow the substandard road to not be improved from the edge of the property all the way down to the hillside designated street, but not to not to recommend approval for the improvement in front of the property. Right.
Okay, I'll second that.
I just wanted,
Did you get that, Heather?
no, because there was a double negative in there. I think we could just be clear on that if you don't mind. So we are not approving the ZA, we approve the, don't approve.
We support
Support.
the ZAD request to not improve from the edge of the property down to the hillside
Correct.
street. But
Yes.
we, as you can imagine, we do not support not improving in front of.
Of course,
It's kind of a big anxious area.
Huge.
Roads being way too narrow, lack of access for emergency vehicles, so, yeah.
But it's a good
If
project.
we seem
It's a
sensitive
good
about it,
project.
there's a reason.
It's a good project.
And can I just ask, did you get the notices sent out?
Yes.
Cool, thank you.
I don't know if the post office got them.
Well, we appreciate you doing it.
Does anyone?
So who seconded that one? Thank you, Marge. Does anyone abstain? Anyone oppose? It passes.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay.
Great, thanks.
Nice job. Thank you.
Somebody want to tell
Yeah.
Andrew?
Get Andy back?
Oh, yeah, this is your packet.
Thank you. And folks, I intend to start making a real place in the office so that the hard copies will all reside there.
Next, Madam Chair.
Sir, are you here for a project?
Yes,
3553 Lavelle.
the three of us are, yes.
On the green project?
Line item F.
Number F. Okay, I think I'm the only one that spoke to the
Lavelle.
zoning administrator regarding Lavelle.
Yes, yes.
I was able to finally get a hold of him on Monday, and I spoke to
Wait a
Mr.
minute.
Chang.
Are we
Sorry.
switching to
We
F
are.
before we do D and E?
CD.
C, D, and E.
Oh, I'm sorry, okay, never mind.
No, we can go ahead, I mean,
And
I
it's
suggest
okay
we
if there's
do,
nobody else here.
they
I
are
just
here
want-
for LaBelle, so I
Yeah,
think it'd be
except for
great to.
LaBelle, if there's no one
Yeah.
else here.
Are you here for LaBelle as well, or what, you're just here?
They're here for fun.
And
Wow, Thursday evening, I'm impressed.
Gotta notice, yeah. Okay, 3553 Lavelle. It's a new single-family home detached garage, three-story side, 44-foot high, 2,080 square feet, substandard hillside, another one. Limited street zoning administrative determination for hillside project permit for Mount Washington Glassell Park specific plan. This is the update on the zoning administrator's comments.
Yes, I finally got a hold of the zoning administrator, Mr. Chang, on Monday, and I expressed to him that we had heard this project and that the committee was hearing from the neighbors and then from the architect, and that we did not have any detailed design drawings, but the drawings that we saw at the last meeting, I have them in the committee minutes to see, but they weren't specific enough. They were very vague, and the zoning administrator said yes, that they are vague, and that he's holding the case open pending receipt of more drawings from the architect. He doesn't know how long he's going to keep it open, but he asked the architect to detail out more drawings, and that he still has not heard from the architect. He also, so he's awaiting for that, and he's not sure how long he's going to keep it open. It's still an open file with him.
Andrew, sorry, what does it mean if he closes the file?
That means he can't accept any more exhibits.
And then,
Then he'll make a determination on the file.
okay,
Sorry.
But, I'm sorry, his wanting to keep it open is based on time or based on sufficiency of documents?
It's both. At any time, he can choose to close it and make a determination, but right now he's asked the architect to come back with more drawings. But if the architect doesn't respond, he has the option to close it and then make a determination.
So if the file is still open, can anyone make comment and have that placed in the file?
It's still open, so
So as long as it's still open, I would consider jumping on that.
I mean, he knew exactly. I didn't even have to mention the case number.
Okay.
He knew everything that was discussed here. So
So since the applicant's not here, we don't need to make any,
we don't have to do anything.
okay, advisory.
I'd like you to hear from Ben though, because I mean you heard all of my concerns at the last meeting.
Yeah, I live across the street from Mike. I've lived there for almost 30 years. Our neighborhood has been the dumping ground of irresponsible realty adventurism. Every year of those 30 years, we have 8 houses in back of us on Parish, which were a blight. It took nearly 11 years to get finished. 2 of them have been sold, the others are still empty. That was a nightmare, vandalism,
Familiar with
squatting,
Parish homes.
horrible.
I worked with Mike Ealer on that.
Yeah, I know Mike well. That's, congratulations. There's,
Yeah, he plays saxophone on the streets on Central in Glendale.
the blight of the, where Yorkshire and Parish and meet, that is horrible. Those are, I've heard that they're not legally up to standard because of the foundation. I don't know anything about that. But those are problems waiting to happen. I doubt they'll ever be finished. I doubt they'll ever be sold. Now they want to put this one across the street from me, next door to these good people. And the lot is too narrow. They want to build a McMansion there. There's 1,000 things wrong with this. If I can get Jack Chang's email, I'll write him tomorrow.
Jack.Chang, C-H-I-A-N-G,
C-H-I-A-N-G, jack.chang,
at lacity.org.
LACITY.org.
and Ben, if you use the language that's on the agenda with the ZA
Yeah.
file number as your
Then
subject,
he'll know, okay.
he'll reference it right away.
But he'll know.
jack.ching@lec1word.org. Okay, 'cause
Yeah, and the letters LACITY.org.
I was not able to attend the meeting downtown a month or so back, and I wish I could have, because I would have gone and said the same thing. This needs a lot of study.
He needs to hear
He shall.
from.
Sorry, because of the fact that during the last meeting, you were able to see some of these, as you spoke about some of these plans that were considered to be vague, would we be able to show Ben right now?
It's that house, the White House with the blue windows, right?
I'd love to get, so I can say I saw this, I saw the.
But just so that
Yeah.
Ben can provide his comments to you right now,
I think I can
any comments.
find it pretty quickly.
Good. I always recommend taking photographs and sending them with your email.
Well, I've got photographs of the trashy mess that the lot has become. They've not trimmed the weeds in 5 years.
I think
the fact that it's very
when I was
narrow.
there, I was a little surprised by the dimensions.
It's narrower than what they presented.
And I can email you these,
The back.
There we go.
Yeah, from that.
and I can email you these too, if you leave me
This
your.
is the big dark cube.
Yeah,
That's-
this is the front.
Okay.
We're to the left, the parsons are to the right, and,
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's not, they're proposing to do, they weren't specific, but it
Well,
states
it's
here
gonna go
that it's-
farther way back than
Yeah.
their house. It should be twice as far
Yeah,
out.
if you look at the actual plans, because I went downtown and I copied them, it goes way further than that. Basically,
And
the
last
house
time we were-
begins, the house begins where the structure on the right ends. And this is the problem that we have, that it goes all the way down into the middle of the ravine.
And that also doesn't reflect the trees that are in that area. There's a large tree
Right on the stage. Yeah.
right on the left side of the structure on the right, and then there's another large tree right next to it as well. So this doesn't even reflect that.
Is there a rule as to the age of a tree means you have to ask for permission? Because those trees have been there for the 28 years.
It's
We've
more
lived-
on the type of tree. They're protected trees.
These are probably just pepper trees, I don't know.
Oh, they're protected.
Oh, they are?
But you can still cut down a pepper tree, you just have to replace it with that ratio.
But
That's
that's
all.
not sure. Or
Yeah, but it's not a 30-year-old mature tree.
But my question is for the committee, is if we don't have the applicant here, what are we,
We had the applicant at the last meeting.
so are we making a decision or taking a
No, we're
motion or
just,
recommending or?
We didn't do any action, but because we were hearing a lot, and because the file was kept open pending action by the council, I wanted to touch base to make sure that what we were hearing is what the zoning administrator heard, and we're pretty consistent. What we heard of committee at the last meeting.
So what are we here to do?
Do, that's
We're
what I'm
just
saying.
afraid, we're not here to do anything, just for me to hear the community and to say that what we heard about this project is pretty much what the zoning administrator
We
heard.
don't have to say.
We got him on the record
I
saying.
highly recommend.
Well, I want to state a
that
motion.
sounds like
In writing.
I want
I'd
to make
like to
a
introduce a
motion.
motion.
Thank you.
I'd like to introduce a motion for the committee to to write an advisory letter in reference to the lack of information on this specific case, and the committee cannot make a decision, nor can have any weigh-in on the proposal at this location.
Oh, he knows that.
Further,
I mean, you could vote for
May
it.
I?
What were you gonna say? I would do it further as well.
Further,
Okay.
we cannot approve this project in any way until we do receive more information on it.
But
We're
can I
not
say
putting
one
it-
thing? He
We're
did
not,
say,
it's not even in front of us.
he did say in that meeting, Jack Chang did say he was very interested in hearing what the neighborhood council had to say about this project.
Right.
Again,
So-
taking no action says a lot.
Well, I think that, but
We have to say why.
We're
That we're
taking
not-
no action.
Why we're
that's
taking
correct.
no
That's what I'm
action.
saying, that's why.
And I would even further that to say that we have had no information or very limited information from the developer of the project. However, we've had extensive comment from the community that with very high concerns.
I think if the house in the plans is double that size, maybe we should add
coming out, yeah.
Wait.
to
I just want to clean
I'm
the
sorry.
motion up, and we'll get a second, and then we'll open it, because I can't keep writing.
Sorry.
Limited to the various information. Okay. Is there a second?
Did you read it back?
Oh, you would say that. Right. All right, it's gonna go something like this. Write an advisory letter, lack of information, very limited information on this project, although we've had very extensive information from concerned community members.
Sounds good.
I'll second that.
Would be lack of information provided by the
Is it too late to say, can we make a comment about the tree?
I don't think so, this is the, you can make a second motion.
Well, there will be time for discussion.
Sure.
It's gonna come back to us.
It's gonna come back to us, so let's just focus on.
This is the time to discuss the motion.
Meantime, look what's happening all over our husbands.
If we are discussing the motion. Well, is it seconded?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so
Chainsaws running into.
we're discussing the motion.
Okay. I think the motion is good, but I think that we need to like maybe itemize, maybe make it more clear that we cannot offer our support for this project due to, and then itemize a list of the concerns due to lack of information from the developer, extensive community concern about the project or the
With the
size.
completion of the house, there's a dozen houses not completed within an eighth of a mile of that site. And that's epidemic in our neighborhood.
But I think the motion and what's been seconded is the fact that this committee cannot act by itself has weight because we don't have any information. And if they want to hear from the neighborhood council, the fact that we can't act because the owner or developer has not presented information speaks volumes.
So, yeah, I
What do you
suppose
mean?
that's
I'm
fine,
sorry,
but the
can
two
you clarify?
things are that we don't have information from the developer
We're
and
not
we have a
acting.
great deal
Clarifies
of
it really
community
quick to
concern.
see we don't have any information to us.
You're shaking your head.
The CA really wants to hear what your concerns are. If you have concerns, state them. You need to be clear what they are, but state them. Because the CA really is hungry for your concerns.
Good.
It does not speak volumes, just say, oh, well, we can't act because we have none.
But we
He
have,
knows that.
but we don't have anything to even look at, to even
Well,
talk about what.
But it's the
it is your
concerns.
decision. I'm just saying the
Right,
CA appreciates real input, one way or the other. To say, otherwise to say, well, inaction because there is no action, that's.
Well, that's not what I'm saying.
That doesn't help the CA.
Can I ask for a point of clarification, Helene? Which is that I understand what he's saying, and I think Helene is being sensitive to that in the way that she's gonna write this, saying not just that we're not doing anything, but that we're not willing to approve it because the architect has not made an effort, and also because we've gotten a lot of dissenting voices from the community. So it shows a lack of cooperation on the one hand and opinions,
But
dissent on the other.
I think you're right, but what we often do is bullet point, and
That's
you're,
what I'm
I think
saying.
that's what you're asking, and I
Yes.
think that's what we should be clear about. We know two things that I think I've heard
Concerns about
stated.
the lot size ratio to the size of the home, that we think that the illustrations, the renderings that we received are maybe
Not to
skewed,
scale.
not to scale. We haven't seen drawings, so we can't really judge what the side yards are. I mean, it looks like they're massive in the pictures, but we know that they cannot possibly be unless you have a house that's 10 feet wide.
His drawings also don't reflect the actual foliage, the trees that are currently present there.
Environmental impact.
Right,
It's,
you
it's
can
gonna be a
also say that
disaster.
the renderings look like it's a completely denuded hillside.
Yeah, it looks like it's,
And we know that it's
and
not.
that's not the
Can we
case.
back up for Helen? Are you getting
Oh, I have
Oh,
She's got a recording.
way to go.
Yeah.
The tree that's in that drawing doesn't exist.
Right.
But there's a bunch of others.
There's a huge
Oh, there-
one.
There's a huge
It's
one
actually-
where they probably plan to construct over. And it may be some kind of danger in terms of the structure of the homes that it supports.
Undermine other foundations.
There should be a tree report.
There usually is,
In my
but we don't have any of that.
Can I have you phrase how it's positioned on the hillside, because your concerns is this slopes way down into the hillside
Yeah,
and
it
blocks.
basically ends up in the middle of the ravine, whereas all of the other houses
The footprint.
are basically, the same kind of line.
That the footprint of the house appears to be closer to the street than it actually would be, unless the house is much bigger than what we're looking at in the rendering.
Because that wouldn't even be possible to build a 2080 square foot house with a detached garage, because our house has an attached garage. So in order for him to even have a detached garage with the home down, as you can tell from this drawing, it would definitely have to go further down into that ditch, into the ravine.
It looks like there's no garage at all.
Well, that's what's
It's making
considered
it
a
like
detached
a
garage.
carport.
Yeah,
And frankly, that little part of LaBelle is too narrow to support the trucks that would be in that thing for 3 years. They can't park down below, it's like dirt.
It's a constant battle in the hillside.
This is a horrible traffic impact right there.
I mean, you guys have actually seen it, right?
Oh, yeah, we live in
Yes.
there.
It's too narrow.
We live in there, trust me, we know. So Helene, where are we at, Madam Clerk?
My dear.
Charming with me. Would footprint appears to overshadow its neighbors, or any other way we'd like to phrase that?
It looks, basically, all we have are renderings, we don't have plans.
That's all I'm asking.
That's why I said appears.
Right, so the renderings suggest
I don't have it in this
a much
file.
smaller footprint than what the dimensions that we received from verbally would suggest.
Renderings take a grain of salt.
You need a,
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We can't act if we don't have the plans or information available.
well, I mean, we have
We can-
this drawing.
These are nothing. These are just
But it doesn't-
conceptual. These are conceptual.
Yeah,
That's nothing.
I mean,
Well,
Pretty much.
another thing too is the conceptual design is not
I didn't
consistent
open it up
with
all the
the
way.
aesthetic of the neighborhood.
Not even close. No.
Okay, sorry, I didn't open up the file all the way, I just looked at the first sheet.
Even the ZA pointed out
Okay, we
that
made
he
that.
thought the house looked more like something from Venice than from Glassell Park.
he said what, sorry?
He said that he thought the design of the house looked more appropriate to Venice Beach than Glassell Park. And he asked for modification.
Yeah, he's waiting to hear.
And that
For
feedback was
revised
actually
plan.
provided before Mr. Holtz had come here to present these plans
That feedback was given to him at the meeting where I was at the meeting also.
with the ZA.
So just a committee question. Is that the drawing right there?
Yes, that's, sorry, I did have, that is the site
Is
plan.
that all we have?
No,
Just as a side note, when I walked up there the first time to see where this lot was, there were some people, 2 different families unloading groceries. And I said, where's the empty lot? And they're like, there's no empty lot here. They literally did not know there was an empty lot because it's so narrow. It's
Yeah.
not 50
this is
feet.
the one that says
There is no
nothing.
way.
I don't believe it's 50 feet
We
either.
don't have a
Oh, it's
survey.
not.
I do, you did, there was, I now remember.
They said
It's-
that their plans, what they had submitted included a survey, but I have yet to see it.
I think now that I remember, I think we did see one last week, which is when you pointed out how far the house goes into the ravine, as opposed to what it shows in the rendering.
This one right here. Because this is the
Yeah.
property line, this is the house, this is the carport, and the 2 adjacent houses, I think that's one here
Yeah.
and
So-
one here, so it's almost all past.
Well beyond.
That's, so Jack Chang is the person to address, not necessarily the architect.
Does that tell you how wide the house itself is?
It'll be in here, yeah.
It's, it's not allowing for much of a side yard.
Yes, right, Jack.
Jack Chang, not the architect, he's just an
He's the decision maker,
Got it.
and he decides on the issues.
85 is the topography, contour lines.
Okay, good.
Any concerns?
Here, read that,
Jack Chang.
I think that's right.
Case file is all here, or right here. ZA, okay. Thank you.
26, 26, maybe 28, if you do it one more. I think we'd be able to see it.
28 feet.
28, is that right? Let me make sure though, because
No, that should be about right, because if it's.
That's about right.
If he says it's 50 wide,
It's 40.
then, and we have 10 feet on each side for two side yards,
That would make sense,
Then
but I don't think he's got 10
that's-
feet.
that's down to 30.
Was there a survey of the lot there at all? You can see how big the lot is.
He was also supposed to give a GPS survey to Jack Chang. and he didn't.
The GPS coordinates.
So what is the width of the lot?
It looks like 4 something, if you, maybe one more time. 40.
40, that's what I thought.
40.
What did I say, Mark?
26 out of 40.
So we have the lot,
77, something.
Because there's two houses on either side with 5 feet apiece, so.
Okay. What does the committee want to do?
8, setback there, 5.
We have a motion.
We still have that motion.
Do you wanna read what we've got so far?
Well, the motion's not really plans.
Can we scrap the motion that was seconded since we added to it and restate the motion?
Amended.
Well, but Lee just added a bunch of new stuff.
She can add all she wants, we don't scrap the motion.
You don't ever scrap it.
You don't scrap the
Unless
motion.
you can vote it down.
That's right, you don't
and make a
scrap the
new
motion, that was my motion.
But you
Yeah,
can't
well,
just
it's
say,
a-
oh, let's forget that.
Well, in the motion it says we don't have plans, we do.
Well, should we vote
So can
against
we-
this motion?
So, we're writing,
You're not making the situation any better.
Wait a minute.
we're writing that we cannot support this project due to lack of information from the developer,
Kind of hard now.
serious concerns that we've heard from the community members, the bulk size of the house, the lot size in relation to the home size, no drawings provided to us, that might be reiterating lack of information. The foliage is not noted,
We
the
have
present
drawings.
foliage.
We have
We
drawings.
do have
We may have a tree report.
Okay,
This is not good, this is not good.
And I feel like we
You should always search for.
voted on one of the previous projects with equivalent or less information than what we've got here. They, really drive.
Is there a tree report?
I did not.
Well, the thing before us on Brilliant was simply the ZAA.
Yeah, it's the same request they have.
So it was the street
Why are we
width.
discussing all this?
No, it's the same request.
Yeah,
ZAD
ZAD.
and SPP.
So
I've
we're
never seen
discussing
one sent to
other
We
things
have-
outside of that?
We have community input though, which needs to be considered.
Well, I guess within that would be the reduced lot size. And it seems that we're talking, maybe this one is very much reduced lot size compared to, the Brilliant was 4,664, so normal is what, 5,000?
But if it's existing, if the non-conforming lot exists,
Yeah,
it could be
it's a
2,000
legal
if it falls in
non-conforming lot.
existing.
But isn't there a ratio of footprint on?
If it's a legal
On
non-conforming
lot,
lot,
you can build on
develop
it,
it.
as long as you maintain certain.
Anything? All the way to the very edges and as high as you want?
As long as you're within the
Within
specific
plan
plans.
requirements and,
guidelines.
right.
And this has an SPP, which I believe specific.
But getting back, I think what we're speaking of here, I think we have a motion, and it's a second, somebody wants to establish a new motion to, strike it down. Where are we actually at on this project? Because if we already have plans, we already have environmental, apparently we've got all that information.
Oh,
We may not have a.
I'm looking at the environmental now, and it's,
Oh.
it's
But we
standard
should be looking to it
conditions.
now.
Yeah.
It's standard conditions about, you don't do loss of trees, plot plan prior to issuance of a building permit, or any permit, a plot plan shall be prepared indicating location, size, type, and general
There
conditions.
you go, the all significant 8-inch or greater trunk diameter or cumulative trunk diameter, blah, 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 non-protected trees on the site proposed removal shall be replaced at a 1 by 1.
But there should be a map of their trees, pretty much. If
A
there's
survey,
A
basically.
survey
Yeah.
of their trees and.
It might be attached to the end of that, sometimes there's a back
Sometimes
of
on
the
the,
file.
like the plot plan. It's usually in the site plan.
So they're gonna cut down these trees and replace them with new ones in the middle of a drought.
So
That's
this
brilliant.
shows 3 trees, or I think they're trees.
So again,
Yeah, that's the
835,
large
where are
tree
we
that
at?
he would have to basically uproot.
yes. The committee has to make a decision.
How do we make a decision on this
So
one?
they're cutting the trees
Have to
down,
move
they're
on.
replacing them or not?
Well,
Do we know what species tree that is?
it should be.
What do you think, Madam
Doesn't
Recorder?
say.
What should we be doing?
Pepper.
Should we take a vote?
We
You know
should have
what
been
kind
doing
of
this a
trees those
while
are?
back.
You have an
Do we
idea?
remember why we put this on till this week and not didn't vote on it last week? That would may answer the question.
Because we wanted to confirm with the zoning administrator. What we were hearing coincides with what his impression was, and I'm just reporting back, but we can discuss it now, we're discussing it now.
Wait, who said that the zoning person said that stuff was vague? Did you hear that directly from them?
Yep.
Yeah.
So if they thought it was vague,
That's why they're leaving the file open.
They're looking for more detail.
okay, then I think it's legit for us to also say
We need more information.
We're echoing,
I think
So
the
the
motion
same motion
stands.
you already have,
Can we
right?
just go
So
to,
can we go?
15 minutes later, right?
Yeah,
Okay, I just wanna make sure.
can we take, call for
motion
vote?
seconded before most of the stuff came.
Do we have
Well,
a
Helene's got a
second
first and a
I guess
second,
we'll-
and
we-
then
I
she wanted
do.
to open it up for
Okay.
discussion. I think you've already done that, correct?
Right, she's gonna repeat the,
So you added,
So,
you added those
I
conditions?
did add that. You know, after we take this vote, I can have a quick word about it, but I think we need to finish this.
Excellent.
Chairs,
Yes.
you ready? All right.
can you state the motion again?
Yeah, there we go.
Sorry.
That's gonna be the tough one. We cannot support this project due to a lack of information from the developer, and after hearing serious concerns from our community members regarding the bulk of the house, the lot size in relation to the home, I hate to say this, but lacking a tree plan, that we're hoping that you don't have that in your file and we're mistaken. And the renderings had suggested a much smaller imprint than we were shown in the conceptual design. I believe that's what
Well
you
done.
said. Okay.
What about the design, sorry?
On the vote.
I don't see, all
well,
I see is that shows 3
The
trees.
fact that
on the
it's
site plan,
this
but I don't see any.
modern design, it doesn't match the mid-century architecture that's in the
we really
area.
don't
We don't
touch
have any
design.
We don't have
Really?
regulated.
you can write a letter
But we
to that
can't,
effect, but we don't have any jurisdiction about
So
design.
it can look like medieval
It
castle.
can look like
Yes,
anything.
whatever
anything
it
it
wants
wants.
to look like.
Yes,
Anything it
that's
wants.
how you get neighborhoods that look like that.
Whatever it looks like.
That's how we get medieval castles.
So let me call the vote.
I'm sorry,
Yes,
go ahead.
please.
Thanks. I'll give it a try first, but
Yes,
are there anyone abstain? Are there any no's?
I'm gonna abstain.
Are you going to
I want to
abstain?
abstain.
Okay, you are, all right. Now I have to write names in.
For new people, you guys know abstentions count as no votes in the tally, just so you know, if you didn't know that.
It depends on how many
Yeah.
other people vote.
Yeah.
They're counted as no's if it's yeses
Period.
versus no's.
Period.
Period.
And those who vote in favor would then be everybody else who did not abstain, Andrew?
It could have been my fault, but we do have drawings, and I do remember
We said
showing
we
this
don't have,
before.
Yeah,
we didn't
have
say we
drawings.
don't have
We didn't
drawings,
say
we said
we
we didn't
have
have enough
You
information.
can delete that part about we don't have drawings.
Just lack, and Helene was gonna do that in-house, so she knows
Yeah.
lack of information.
All right, then, yes.
We have your,
All right, motion passes.
Thank you. I got it good.
Thanks very much. Thank you very much, guys.
You bet.
Forgive me, committee members, I actually have an 8 o'clock
Um,
birthday.
Everybody, I highly recommend that you just blast those things.
Oh, absolutely.
And
Multiple.
if you want me to email you these plans,
Yes,
give
please.
me a, okay, you wanna write it down?
I'll write my email down.
Did you all sign it on the sign-in sheet?
Yes, I think
It'll
my
be there,
email's
Andrew,
over
if you
there.
want.
It'd be actually more convenient to
Yeah.
just do it right here,
I got it.
that way, then I have to find the sign-in sheet.
Yes, thank you. Aline, thank you for the motion, very well done. Thank you.
You too.
You bet. Mr. Chair, it's okay? Okay, Andy, you know?
Andy's ready.
benjaminherndon@gmail.com.
Can I read that?
HERNDON.
Okay. I am leaving the country, involved in a court suit. I'll let you know. I
My email will CC you on my computer tomorrow. _ Lane. Very good. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Ben.
Okay, back to 6C.
See. Oh.
Did we get that letter out there?
Did we what?
Get the scramble letter out?
It was attached to something.
Okay,
It
thanks.
didn't, maybe it's the end of this. I saw it in something that was,
It's on the website, so you can just go to the website and pull it up.
Yeah,
no,
we
we're
make
talking about the
copies.
letter from, we're talking about C?
Yeah.
Yeah, but there are copies.
Okay, good.
They were over there.
Good. Somewhere.
We were talking about.
So these are,
we
those are,
motion?
Are those
yeah.
permanent?
It probably says San Fernando,
It's something, it's in there.
or Division, or
What was it,
Cazador.
what was the,
Oh, it's probably part of the
There's no
letters.
number, so it's just between Cazador and Division on San Fernando.
what did I write on the, this sheet? I called it
Okay, it's in the back of this packet of sample letters. Did you get
San
one?
Fernando.
I already looked at it.
It's the last 2 pages. Oh, you have it. And this is on it's the last 2 pages.
I have it.
Keep one more of those.
I have it on this laptop somewhere.
You have it in here.
Andrew, you can just pull it up on the website. If you're not
I can't get
interested.
into email.
What?
Can't get into email.
Just go to the. Do you mean you can't get online?
Right.
Oh, I'll turn on my Wi-Fi and you can use it.
It's all right. It's here.
Oh, you found it?
It's right here in the copies.
Oh, here. No. See, I put it in a separate folder right there. Oops. That's street designations. All right. I did put it in separate. No. I remember doing it. All right. Never mind.
There's a copy if you want to look
There
at
it
it.
is. So, I want to say Motion San Fernando Road folder?
Yeah, but it's not there. I must have put it somewhere else. Okay. Motion San Fernando Road.
I thought that was pretty cool. That's separate from this one, right? That's separate
Correct.
from this.
Yes, yes.
Can we just blend these two? Randy, what are we doing? What are we doing?
We are doing the motion
15 minutes.
6C. Motion request. We're reading request for item to do a scramble at.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah.
Unless somebody has a problem with it.
Sorry?
I said,
Great.
I thought it was pretty good.
I take a motion that we accept this letter.
I have a question on the letter, and when things aren't accurate, it bothers me. And I read this originally, and it says, next to the last paragraph, San Fernando Road is quickly becoming an alternative to the freeway for commuters just passing through. There is an increased residential density in the area and on San Fernando Road, and there's a large student population. It's the other way around. It always has been an alternative for commuters. It's actually a designated major highway on the Northeast LA Community Plan, and we talked about that it should be redesignated, that it should not be a designated major highway. In fact, under the mobility plan, it's now Avenue 2 category, but right now it's still a major designated highway. So to say something like this,
Well, we can just change.
okay, well that's
I think she's just characterizing it as a place people use to get to downtown.
So we
Well,
just,
that's my point, but if you wanna approve this letter, having worked in the planning department, a planner will read this and go, well,
so
you know,
can't.
Are you saying that's official, that's an official designation?
yes,
Okay,
yes, major highway.
Because I think that,
Yes.
I think she was using colloquialisms, and they happen to be the same words that are official language.
I would prefer
Well,
that
I don't
we
think
just
it's
correct the
becoming.
language and say what we're trying to get at. That would make sense.
Yeah, but I've been here since 2008, and that used to be a quick route to downtown, and now it's a clogged route to downtown. It has changed significantly.
If
When
I may-
this language says becoming an alternative, it always has, that's the point.
So
It's
I think,
going in the other direction.
Can we just say San Fernando Road
Yes.
is an alternative to the freeway for commuters and get rid of
Yes.
quickly becoming and
Yes,
call it a night?
yes.
Yeah. And there's also a typo.
Yeah, there's a few typos.
But I don't know if it's, it's quickly becoming.
He's taken
Just
that out.
took that
San
out.
Fernando Road.
She's proposing San Fernando Road
San
is an
Fernando is an
alternative.
alternative, or is used as an
It's
alternative.
used as.
It's used as.
It just is an alternative.
Right.
Either one's fine.
Is an alternative to the freeway.
Yeah, you're right.
Simple.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I mean, and since
We
the
got it. Let's not keep laboring that.
Well, as a planner, I know how important the street movement is in Los Angeles. In fact, the city council discussed streets and how they're designated and what they're used for. And to quickly gloss over this,
We're not glossing, we're
We're
taking
fixing
out
it.
the
I
quickly
mean,
becoming
we
and saying
crossed
San
out quickly
Fernando Road
becoming.
is an alternative to the freeway. That is
well,
true.
but I think you should
And
mention,
what is it you want to say?
well, it should elaborate more that San Fernando has changed from being
There is an increased
major
residential
highway.
density.
But the
of
traffic
think it
has only
addresses
gotten
that.
worse, it has not gotten better, and it's completely wishful thinking if you think it's gonna go in the other direction. People aren't gonna
I'm
forget that's an
Can we
alternate
just-
route to downtown.
No one's letting me speak.
Let him go.
No one's letting me speak.
Go, Andy, go.
And we've talked about this. We talked about it with the Renaissance Academy. San Fernando Road has traditionally and officially been a secondary highway, a major highway. But now with 3 schools at that end of it, and all the residential that has been built at south of Division Street, I think not just talking about a scrambler, I think we should look about the whole redesignation of San Fernando as being more a community, local street than as a through passageway. A scrambler is just one part
Okay,
of
but
the bigger picture.
but that's
But
not
that's
what's
not
on
on
the
the
table.
agenda.
That's not what's on the
But it's being
agenda.
described in the motion.
But I
It's a
think
busy
that
street.
somebody reading the agenda would not think that we were going to take that leap.
Well, but if there's a motion here, and that's the language that's in it. I'm telling you how a planner thinks.
The motion says installation of a diagonal crosswalk.
It says, quickly becoming an alternative to the freeway.
Got rid of
No,
the school.
No.
the motion is to approve
Andrew,
a letter
imagine
request.
30,000 people out here, and they would call it the community.
So, okay.
And we have to be discussing what is written here.
The motion
but then
to
what is
letter
this?
request
That was on the
to all
website to
purposes.
back up what is written here, so that anyone can see that that's what we're
So
discussing.
this is not going to be voted on this letter, just the motion.
We can modify the letter and vote to approve it with
Yeah.
modifications.
But we're not changing it and altering it from what essentially it is asking
Well,
us to do.
essentially is one thing, I'm trying to be specific here and clarify the point and raise the larger issue, which this does bring up, of what is San Fernando
I
Road.
think that would be an
I
issue
think
for another
that's-
day. I
That's
agree
an
with you.
interesting,
I
yeah.
agree with you, but I think that would have to be an issue for another day. And
Well,
this would be the start, this would
This
be
is about
this.
safety for people crossing the street,
I know.
that's what it's about.
I know what it's about. Before Sotomayor opened, I said to an official at DOT, look, there's only 4 feet of sidewalk on San Fernando Road for those kids to cross on.
Right.
Prefer this paragraph is struck.
It does say right here, we need to take a complete approach to improving the quality of life, quality of transportation, that should be changed, transportation. And we feel this is one improvement that will address both. She's not asking for, to change the entire structure of San Fernando Road, she's asking for a study, not even the crosswalk itself. She's asking for a study of a diagonal crosswalk at that location.
Study and installation, I believe, yes.
And installation of
So
a
as as zoning administrator and other planners said, they want specifics. When you take some, when they get a letter like
So
this,
how would
If we
you?
struck
let me
how much
finish.
specific?
I'd like to finish and echo what someone said. Boy, city officials don't make up things. They use what's given to them by community members. They do not create it. They take what language is in here and use it and run with it. So if you take language that is not right, they're going to go, well,
What is
Do
your
they
suggestion?
still have
What's
the
not
same
right?
common sense that the rest of us have to understand the intention of the letter? And if they do, I'm
I'm just
happy to send
telling
it.
you my reaction as a planner as I read it.
Okay.
I thought there are holes
So
in
you're
this. The
you're gonna
concept-
get hung up on semantics instead of reading the spirit of the letter? I don't think that that's
He's
what most
saying
people
what
would
planners
do.
would do.
I'm
Can I
telling
ask a
planners-
question? So,
Time
because
out,
we're
time
gonna go
out.
back
I don't
and
think he
forth.
speaks for all planners.
No, I'm not saying, but we're gonna go back and forth. What words would you
The-
use for that one paragraph, right
The
there?
concept, the concept is great. I always like the concept. I did not
What
disputing
words
the
would you
concept.
use?
I can rewrite it, but then you,
No, just that one paragraph.
Let's move on this evening, Andrew.
And
What's
what
that?
would you say?
Can I
Just
make a
for that
motion?
one
Please.
paragraph.
I'd like to make a motion to support this letter with the correction of taking is quickly becoming out.
Yes.
And then we'd also have to fix a couple other typos. But
I second.
I would want to see the finished letter.
Well, Andy.
You just
Andy,
got it,
we
Andy.
need to finish.
This letter is to the land use committee, so you have a chance
San Fernando Road is.
redefine it.
Just taking out
Yeah.
quickly becoming.
No, well, we're doing that right now.
Yeah,
Right.
that would,
And I think he made the motion of what that would be.
and that would be the final letter.
Yes.
Yes, except for the type.
Except for the typo, which is just passing through, there's a,
Can we get rid of just?
Yes.
So it says for commuters passing through.
yeah,
Because just sounds out of place
Right.
once we take out quickly becoming.
Right.
Yes.
So San Fernando Road is used as an alternative to the freeways for commuters passing through.
Yeah.
And then down there where it says transpiration, it'll say transportation.
and right after through, capital T.
Period, capital T.
And those are the modifications that we're gonna include on this motion.
I do think we can visit what Andrew's saying, but that's just not the time for it, it's
Yeah,
not on
and
the
and
agenda.
I completely agree that I would love to put things on the agenda in the future because San Fernando Road is a little bit of a problem.
Yeah, and there's more and more development,
Yeah.
I agree.
It is
Completely
a
agree.
larger issue, and this is a start.
This is a start, yeah.
Okay,
And there's language here that's gonna help our cause coming up too.
Yeah. I was just
I
getting the
think
wording
that-
right,
I
but I'll
think
get
that-
that from you
I
later
did.
on. Okay, Jamie
Yes.
and Ruby.
I will abstain.
She says no. And Shauna. And Andrew. Marge.
Yes.
Lean. Yes. Brendan.
Yes.
Andrew.
I'm still reading
Jared?
it.
Did I call you?
No.
I'm so sorry. My list doesn't have your names on it yet. All right, Jared.
Yes.
It's 6 yes.
Motion passes. Okay, so Richardson's not here.
Is there any kind of time constraint on 3609 Richardson? That just by not being here, we're tacitly approving it?
We've already written a letter saying they failed to show up before.
So we failed to show them up.
That's right, we tried to get him here.
Is there a time element where we should weigh in on this before our window closes?
Same developer for both.
Yeah.
But we don't have any drawings.
It says,
No information.
board letter of non-support because no presentation in EDLUC after 2 schedules.
This
53.
No, it's
I
the
think we
third.
already have, I think we've already written that.
Do we see it on the website?
3609 Richardson on the website?
Jamie?
I am, somebody's texting me like mad.
I'm sorry. I was distracted by the
I was
sound.
wondering-
What was the question that you addressed to me?
Is there a
It
letter
says
for
no file
3609?
development of single, it says right
On the
here, isn't
website.
it? 3609.
I put up all the
that's fine.
documents that I had.
Okay.
So I can't remember if that one was one of them or not. If this was a letter from a previous date, I was not aware of that, so.
I had put 10/29/15, Edluck motion to not support because of no info presentation.
Right.
102915.
15.
Yeah.
2915. So why that would
Why
be
is
coming
it
back
back
this
here?
long?
Because I think it wasn't filed at that point, but people had asked to be put on, so we asked the applicant back then to provide information, and now it's been officially filed, so that's why we put it on the agenda. But back then it was information about someone knew that they were doing something. And we were asking for information, but nothing was provided. Now it's been filed, there is a file, but we don't have any information on it.
Is it possible to call find out from whoever is overseeing this file, what's going on and when, if they're gonna be closing this file at some point? So
I
that
think
we
there'll
will.
be, this is a project permit determination, no public hearing. It's just a design issued for compliance with a specific plan. It's like Eagle Rock Boulevard. We don't know what status they are since this has been around so long. That could have been in plan check for a long time, and the only thing they're waiting is for planning department to do the specific plan determination. We just don't know. But it has been around for a long time, so I'm not surprised that they are in plan check. So I could find out.
They do have filed in, right?
Hmm?
They do have filed in.
Yeah, they do have a file number.
Because it says no file.
Well, prematurely, I think we asked them to come to our meeting before they filed.
Yeah,
So that was the excuse, was they hadn't filed it.
So this might be still
So we
early in the
need to-
process?
Yeah, no, there's nothing on the website. It says placeholder for documents for 3609.
I didn't remember seeing that letter again, so I didn't think it was that good.
I move that we see if we can bring them back to the July agenda.
Second.
I would think we should try and get a hold of the file ourselves downtown.
Both.
Yeah.
Do it.
Motion to try to get the file and invite yet again the applicant.
Second.
So Helene, you made the motion.
Yeah, and
Me just once for Bradley because it's.
You've seen it before.
anyone abstain? Any noes? All in favor?
All in favor.
And we move. All right.
G, we don't have any confirmation from Dunn on, we don't have any materials.
But I strongly suggest, as I did this myself, they have the ethics training online, and you could do it. I actually got my card, but unfortunately they want you to do it for a minimum of 2 hours, and I killed as much time as possible, but I was only able to put
You
in
just have to have another project.
It took
1
me
hour and
2
44
hours
minutes.
and 40
I was
minutes.
like killing time. It was like, I know
I'm a
the
really
answers.
slow
Can I
reader.
ask a question?
Yeah.
Jeff did it, it's been a while since I've done it. I was always under the impression that recusal would come after the presentation, then you take yourself out of the room. Did they say you can't even be in the room for the presentation?
As soon as it comes up on the agenda, you have to
Okay.
walk out.
Because there's discussion during the presentation, so they don't want them to be, because the way that they explained it was, the person might be going, or like, or, you know, doing stuff like that. And if they have a lot of kind of friends on the committee or
Yeah.
people in the audience they might be influenced, they might be like,
Yeah.
oh, he
Okay.
doesn't like it, so I'm gonna vote against it. Even if they're not directly asking you to vote against it, you might still be influenced by their opinion, and that was considered not kosher. So,
That's done.
actually, that was the laws for all of California's government positions. Pretty broad.
All right, 6H.
Glassell Land. I spoke to Justin last night, and he has no patent, he has no right on it. He is very happy to share with everyone Glassell Land as a community effort, as a designation, and he's very happy to this. Well, I guess I need to explain myself a little more. This was a request to have the city council pass a resolution making Glassell Land an honorary official second name for Glassell Park. It has no meaning, no weight behind it, other than the fact that it's a recognition by the city council for something that's already happened. It's kind of like a blessing. Okay, you have a second name, you have a pet name, you have a nickname, Glassell Land. It doesn't change anything. It has no meaning whatsoever, except it's recognizing what's there. So this is a motion to request that the city council do adopt a resolution recognizing Glassell Land as a second name. And the creator of the art piece, I'm going to call it an art piece, but that's the easiest way to describe it, but there's a lot of, he's got the billboard lobby against him on this. So he's fine with it. He wants to share the name Glassell Land. He doesn't want it to be used as a promotion for any kind of development, but he's happy to share Glassell Land, and he wants help, and I told him I'd help him to legalize another site for it. So we're going to do that. But right now, I'm suggesting that the city council adopt an honorary resolution recognizing the words Glassell Land as a second name.
So do you need a motion?
Yeah.
I wanted to comment on that. I mean, I know I said this before, but since it's up again, I just want to say it's derivative of Hollywood. We're a different neighborhood. We're far better than Hollywood in pretty much every way. And for the one identifying feature of us to be a spoof feels a little cheap to me. I appreciate the art piece as an art piece, but to say that that's the highest Glassell Park can kind of aspire to is to identify itself with this one art piece, this one spoof. It's like, oh, we never get art pieces. The second one comes in, we're like, let's glom onto that one. And I also have heard some feedback from longtime residents in the community that they're like, it's not Glassell Land, it's Glassell Park. We don't like that. And I'm one of the people who feels that way as well. So I wouldn't be in favor of it, and I feel like there's not enough of us here to represent the community to like, you know, even if all 8 of us liked it, that doesn't mean the community wants it. And I feel like we would need to do outreach to the community and get the community's input before we could say that we think that the community wants this. So that's my feedback.
I agree with the latter of that. This is, you know, although it's not gonna get, you know, it doesn't really mean anything, it's the type of story that Curved or East Side LA is gonna pick up, and people might start using it. And I agree with the second part. I just don't think that it should be a decision that the Justice Committee makes. I think we should try to get some feedback from the community somehow, and see what they think.
I have a question. Don't we, as a body, make recommendations to the full board, and the full board then decides what to do? So anything we do here, we're not the only ones. We're just sending something forward to.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe we can send this to the
full
neighborhood
board,
council
so that-
and have them push that to the community to get people's input. I don't know.
Like could send it to the outreach committee and ask them to do some outreach.
I was gonna say, maybe we should ask the outreach, yeah.
I mean,
So
that's
that
kind of
We could
simple.
send it to the outreach.
So that
And
could be
the
the
GPI.
recommendation.
What is the difference in second name versus nickname? And Is,
There is none, there is
Yeah.
none.
It's a none thing.
It's not gonna.
I feel like second name makes it seem more formal if we're gonna make this request. If we're gonna put this forward.
It's like no-ho or, we-ho, it's just, it's something that people use and then it becomes something. But I don't think that either of those communities felt compelled to get a proclamation.
I just think that the language second name makes it sound like more formal designation.
Oh,
And
yeah,
if we're
like you
gonna-
could write Glassell Land, California,
And I don't, I
I don't
agree it
think
should
so.
go to the community for more outreach, but I think that the wording should be nickname, not a second name. I think that language is more concerning, at least for me.
The issue and the permanency of the sign is gonna die if it's not kept in the public view. So it will,
Well, I was reading the GPIA newsletter, and it takes me a while to read the May, June issue.
Oh, I was gonna say, because the
Yeah.
next one should be in your mailbox
I
tomorrow.
know, but it did say they were looking for us new sign,
Mhm.
because,
Yeah, because CD one
That
only
site
guaranteed us that for 6 months.
yeah, so.
And
Yeah,
it's
but
been
there-
well over that.
I talked to Justin and Maggie about helping them find a new sign, and that is going to be that's gonna be the real public relation effort, getting a new sign. This is purely symbolic, this is part of the public relation effort, and it's a significant part of the public relation effort. But for a permanent site for that is gonna be where all the legal and zoning laws come into place, where it will call upon what does the community think and look for actions like this to get a reading on it. And that's what the real effort will be. This is just a more support background to make it a permanent site. But that is going to be a real challenge.
You know, in order to create a resolution for that, Andy, you've gotta have some background information on it. It is
I've written resolutions.
Can I, are we still on the topic?
Yeah.
We're still on Glassell Land, yeah.
Okay. So was a motion called?
No, we're in discussion. There's no motion.
Well, let's call a motion, we could go into discussion.
Let me,
Does someone have a motion?
no,
Yeah, I have a motion to oppose this at this time and send this discussion to the outreach committee so that we could get fuller input from the community.
I'll second. What about the Public Arts Committee?
Do we-
Is that kind of dissolved right now, or does it still exist? Maybe we should say outreach and
Well,
public
if you
arts.
keep going around and kicking it to other committees, it's going to just be kicked around.
Do we need to use the language oppose?
No, we don't.
necessarily-
How about we
I don't
send
necessarily-
this, simply send
Okay.
this to the outreach committee
Okay.
for,
Community input, I think is
Yeah,
a
to,
major
Okay,
aspect.
I rescind my second and I'll re-second when we
You know,
finalize the
we
wording.
can send it with a recommendation, and they can do whatever they want with it.
I wouldn't want to
Well, I think the fact that we're
recommend,
sending it to them is pretty much says we want them to do something. It's not like.
But we can tell them what we think.
but we want to hear what other people think.
that's what I think, is what I want to hear what the community thinks. I don't support it or oppose it. But that's all opinions.
So send to outreach committee for broader community input.
Glassell Park's pretty engaged, interactive community, I'm sure we could get some input.
let me remind, we're gonna go to the vote, right?
Yeah.
Or you're just gonna say we're referring it to the outreach committee?
We're sending it to the outreach committee for broader community input. Is that okay?
That's fine.
Are you ready? Ruby?
Yes.
Chana? Jamie?
Yes,
Vote.
sorry.
Andrew?
Yes.
Marge? Yes. Pauline? Oh, yeah, and Brenda?
Yes.
And?
Jared.
Okay, great, thank you. All right,
Let
let
me
me
remind you that it's 10 after 9, and we're supposed to adjourn at 9.
9:45 if you look at the agenda.
Oh, really?
Another thing change that happened.
Oh,
We're gonna lose our, well, we may.
I'm sorry to lose anybody.
We'll still have quorum.
3,
We'll have only lost 2.
4, 5. I have to leave too.
Actually, I have to leave too. I'm supposed to be at a birthday party.
Then I just want to make a quick motion that we've moved the final two letters on the agenda to the full board and let the full board make that decision. It's a letter for Barry Knoll, a letter to
I have a
Hilda
problem with
Solis.
Barry.
There all is, we can't do that, I mean, because there all is still ongoing.
And the council office, the council office came here and discussed to us about Barry Knoll and told us what was going on Barry Knoll.
But if it's ongoing, isn't that the time to give input before it's too late? Because
Well, we did this and we asked for the council office to weigh in on Barry Knoll and they responded to us. And now we're kind of like stepping over them by doing this letter.
I move that we bring this to discussion at our July committee.
July, let's table this for July.
Table for the July, but let's talk about the
we're
letter
only
for.
tabling Barry Knoll.
Only Barry Knoll, let's go to Hilda Solis.
No vote.
No,
Just
please.
the letter to Hilda
Okay,
Solis.
I second
Barry Knoll?
tabling Barry Knoll.
Yes.
Didn't you just make the motion?
Yeah,
It's,
all those in
it's
favor.
an animal.
Okay.
Are we gonna table this, Walnut?
No.
No,
I remember reading the
You wanna
letter and I
discuss
had
this?
a comment. I don't know if you want to keep reading it some more or do you want me to?
The Hilda Solis letter?
You'll
Yeah.
listen next year.
Yeah, right.
The last discussion we had on this project was this Friends, what was it? Friends to Preserve Walnut Canyon?
Neela Green Space?
It was,
No.
no, it's a different one. It's called Friends to Preserve Walnut Canyon.
yes.
Oh,
They're
Uh-huh.
organizing to get the funding to buy these properties. Remember at that point?
Neela Green Space.
That was Neil Green Space, that was.
Yeah,
like
you're talking
2 or
about
3 years
Joan
ago.
Lundy's
Friends
group.
Reserve Walnut Canyon.
That was a long time ago.
From the GPNC.
Oh,
Yeah.
this is a different one.
This is just giving
They
history.
just, oh, they just.
It's giving history.
So Neela Green Space is the new one, right? I remember now, okay.
Yeah,
Well,
they
weren't they talking about trying to purchase this property?
They were.
Why, but this is another effort to do that. It's not like it's coming out of their pockets. Therefore, I think this is not a one person or one group effort. This is a large
The
community-wide
other
effort.
one was not a one-person group effort.
I wasn't implying that, Andrew.
The Friends of Walnut Canyon was not a one-person group effort.
Yes, I know.
It wasn't.
okay, so,
So this is a letter to Hilda Solis asking her to act as a supervisor to free up money to help us purchase this land. Or act upon it herself to preserve green space. She is about green space, there is money, she has it. And the more people and the more groups that send a letter like this to her, the more likely it is she's going to look at it and think, oh, maybe I really should. I know that, I've personally spoken with Jimmy Gomez and Kevin De Leon and Gil. They all say they're supporting it, but Hilda has the money. So my feeling is we should use every possible direction, every possible angle to get this done, because soon we will have 32 homes we don't want on this property.
and can I comment, I talked to Jen Campbell the other day, and she mentioned that, one of the people's names you just said, I don't remember which one, but it was one of them. She ran into him at the Lummis Day thing,
Jimmy.
and he said, oh, isn't that a done deal? Didn't you guys win Walnut Canyon? And she's like,
No, that wasn't Jimmy then, he knows.
okay, well, somebody was under the impression that that was,
Yeah.
like, he was basically like, oh yeah, congratulations on that, by the way, and she was like, oh no, we're not there yet.
Well-
So her point was that it quickly fades from politicians, round.
There's a renewed interest in this. We seem to see you have some political interest. Again, you know how this goes in waves, because some people have been doing this for years and years and years. And I think it would behoove this committee to move this letter to the full board so that we could participate in this support.
I make a motion to approve
I wanted to
this
discuss
letter.
something in the letter.
Okay.
I agree with the principle, I'm totally for it, but I also think letters, official letters, need to be clear and
Yeah.
not send mixed messages.
It doesn't really ask, I don't see an ask in here.
At the next, second to last paragraph again, it muddles the issue. Therefore, as part of this process and request for funding, we want to take a proactive approach to identify all the green space in our community prior to any project permits being filed. That's muddling everything.
Okay, well then I have a suggestion. How about if we make a motion to send this letter to the board for modification as the board sees fit, saying we support the spirit, but that the letter needs work. And let the board come up with that, because I mean, it's really the board that will make the end decision anyway.
And send the letter.
Where
Yeah.
did this letter originate from?
A couple of different people, I think.
I wrote a good half of it.
Does anyone second my
I
motion?
second it. I just like them to, well, maybe I like to add
You'll be
that,
able to speak.
And then when that's gonna,
well, that they
Defense for
ask for something.
right, and when that's gonna be on the agenda for
Yeah.
the board, like if you guys have thoughts about that, please come and share those, so it can be included
I won't
as
be
the
here
letter
next-
gets edited.
Next month, but
It has to be more specific. You're right
I want
about
them, I want to see and ask, I want them to ask her to do something,
To get
whether it's
funding, for
to get
instance.
funding, help us get funding, something.
I think it needs to be more direct
Yeah.
and not
Cause this
identify
can't be
open
done.
space, say
Yeah, that
identify.
needs to be the only
Right, I just took that paragraph out.
Okay, that's the only problem.
Cause this can't be done, Gloria has done
With
this
that
for
paragraph.
flat top, although we're
So
having a
Jamie,
problem.
you just made the motion, I'll make the second.
Brendan made the second.
Okay, great.
I have support the spirit of the letter for the board to consider, and it makes, the board always has the option to alter whatever comes to it. And your comment was that if you could put that in a
I don't know
brief
where it is.
sentence?
It should
You
be
want it
a
to be more
specific
direct?
ask, we should
Specific.
definitely
More
ask for her.
specific as
Specific
to
request.
Yeah.
where the funding will be coming from.
Well, she knows that a little better than us.
And,
Well, she
and
does, but if you know, you
not to
said
ask to
something.
identify,
Yeah, no, I took that whole paragraph out,
okay, yeah.
Which paragraph?
the second to last.
I have an issue with that. Well, I could always bring it back on later. Okay. All right. So, Ruby,
Yes.
she's gone. Jamie,
Yes.
Andrew,
Yes.
Marge,
Yes.
Jared,
Yes.
Brandon.
Yes.
Okay, unanimous.
Okay, may I just say that on item 7B, the dash route thing, somebody was here maybe the GPIA meeting, when, or maybe, no, it was somebody else. Oh, it was at the June 21st meeting, when the field deputies spoke.
Yes.
And somebody was saying that they were talking, was it CD14, was it Lucy? Or was it Hector?
Mitch's office, I think, is
I
what you're
think it's
saying?
Hector. Mitch's office
Yeah, it
was,
was Hector.
had some information, Andrew. I didn't get it, but there's something going on.
The DLT study or?
I don't know what it is, but he was talking about the dash route, which is what I'm assuming this GPNC bus route request is.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's the same thing, but I've referred it to other neighborhood councils because the proposed route goes to different other neighborhood councils. I gave them the approved letter that was signed by the board and saying, this is what we did and we're proposing a route in your neighborhood. What do you want to do?
Oh, well, you know, the GPNC just nominated representatives to the Alliance of River Communities, which is all the neighborhood councils that are along the river. So you might want to send it to them.
Yeah, my comment on that was going to be, I sent it to a lot of people on different neighborhood councils. More than half of them came back unreturned, so I guess their email addresses are not accurately reflected on websites. Some people did respond, but I got such a high rate of returns that if anyone knows other organizations like this, we could
Well,
share
Get
it.
their email addresses from Doug.
I was going to suggest we start with CD13 Hector, because what he said was they are establishing that dash route. And so they already are moving on that in their section.
So maybe we can talk to Hector and find out a little more information before the next meeting, or ask Hector to come and talk to us.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
He's on vacation right now, but
In a month.
I don't know. I emailed him to ask him more about Fletcher Street.
I think
and
he's
got
back on the
an auto
8th.
reply.
Back on the
Okay.
8th. Somebody's calling this meeting adjourned?
Unfortunately, we talk about the
Adjourning?
baseline
We're
hillside.
adjourning.
I'll move to the.
Andrew,
We
before you
already
leave,
got, we revolver, Latin Night revolver, Albert's birthday party,
fun.
children's cancer,
Albert
children's
has
cancer
birthday.
award.
Okay, so I want to talk to you about that.
Basically,
So
they're spreading it
how
all
can we maybe
It's already-
like share a Dropbox with us? And can you give me some
Right,
of the
hey.
documents?
The recorder has to be included in the conversation.
Okay, Celine,
So we don't really need to weigh in on it.
Dropbox folder so that we can get those documents onto the website. All the
Okay,
blueprints,
yes,
all
that's
all
where I
that
think it
stuff.
should all go on.
Because you know how like earlier tonight we were not sure if it was a tree plan or whatever. So what I'm thinking is we get all those documents ahead of time, and everyone here has a chance to look them ahead of time. Then somebody will have a prior memory, oh, I saw it, whatever, you know what I mean? So we
No,
should
that's, I
really
didn't,
talk about,
that's, it should be.
Yeah,
Simply,
this is going for lunch, so
it should be.
4
now,
chairs on
are
the
you
side.
getting blueprints?
Just so you know, I'm gonna be on vacation.
Good.
Weddings, vacation, so
Oh, I think
you
that's
won't see
great.
me at all this month. July coming up.
Am I giving you at the right email address at the,
Like a group, and then you don't have to forward
I
them.
haven't seen an email from you, I don't think.
at your real
Then
estate
they
page?
attach
Yep.
it, but then.
KW.
You know what I mean?
KW? Well,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Enterprise.
I don't know
I
if
sent you one about this
And I
meeting.
asked if there were either, I asked if
Oh,
they
no.
could also send it to the so that's.
4 on the side.
Email those to
I guess the bigger question is, would you like me to
No, I'll
continue
just
using the
use
KW?
Yeah, definitely. Maybe I overlooked
Problem
it. What's,
when
how
we're
does yours
getting
start?
these-
HS.
I think it's awesome. So I would think it's, I know you're gonna put them on the website, then I'll just.
Don't worry, there's no method to this.
Yeah, and like, you were saying something about like the spreadsheet, and I think that as long as I keep the website updated with files, and I know the date, like let's say you send on a file, and you're like, I don't know when it's coming in, it's not things that have not yet been agendized, and then
Oh,
there's
yeah, I did get it.
coming up.
Yeah.
With the ones that we know are gonna be on the agenda, and I can at any time move somebody to that, and then that also becomes sort of archived. So we don't even need the spreadsheet. So my idea is that everything will be on the website that would have been on the spreadsheet, and then it's easier, okay, so that'll be easier to
You guys,
read.
can we do that in committee? Because if we're talking about making any changes to the website,
I'm just talking about protocols for how we obtain those documents, so.
and it's right, I think what you're doing is amazing, but
It should be on,
there
that
so
should
that
be
everyone
on.
would have access.
And that spreadsheet, I thought it was gonna be easy, but there's too many different fonts and sizes.
Yeah.
So by the time you change
So
all
you'll
that,
probably be doing as quickly as we can get you added onto the
Yeah.
website, link for the.
I mean, it's just like having it go slick in so many different windows back and forth, it gets very, you get very tangled.
I'll just give you
I thought it was gonna
information
be
to
easier.
Jamie or Molly or whoever.
I mean, yeah, I mean, that was,
And then just go through.
I know.
But I never see you.
I wave every once in a while. I saw you coming in.
Anyway,
I simplified it.
Walked right in from.
You know, I remember you
I
saying that.
simplified it, and it's
As I was
still.
driving.
The one time I tried to do this, I.
Fixing the fonts and sizes, and sometimes it's all caps,
Remember once
sometimes.
we both volunteered?
Yes, I'm gonna do
So
it.
what
I'll
I
do it
would
for
like
us.
to do,
So just keep that better in mind. I get back mid-August.
so that means a lot
Oh,
of
well, you
backup.
have a European
And that's what I would
I'm going to
suggest.
Europe for a little bit, but then